and we're going to just nosh.
It is George Sedano. It is Scott Kaplan. Sedano and Cap is on.
I'm going to have to say respectfully, I'm going to disagree.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know.
Here we go. Welcome to a new year of Sedano and Cap. Monday, January 6th, 2025. We made it through the holidays, did you? And we make a vow this new year. Our New Year's resolution is to do more shows together. Well, at least we're going to try, you know. Speaking of which, producer Lindsay's
Good
out
luck
today.
with that.
Producer Funchy is sitting in. Young D is here. And Sedano and Cappy. We'll recap all that's going down. Plus talk about our holiday season. And don't forget Friday. You can press the flesh at Islands Restaurants Island Boy in Manhattan Beach. All-day live broadcast to get ready for Wild Card Weekend. Plus, late breaking, we will have Rams Vikings tickets to give away if you're in attendance. The Islands Restaurants in Manhattan Beach. So come on out. Press the flesh with Sedano and Cappy and me. Meanwhile, while you think about that, think about this. It's time for the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover.
Hey, Jerusalem Cherry. He likes to lay the wood.
Yeah.
You say Kikuchi.
Wacky forced radio stunt of the year.
Christopher can go to hell.
Oh, nothing worse than the horse.
Nah, man, black don't crack.
Benjamin Pratt is like, how do you say his name? Asminger?
Assminger. Hey, these Hard Knocks guys are all over me right now. It's like I'm in back in Dayton. You are a bit killer.
Because you got to talk about sperm?
I mean, look at me. I'm a hot piece of ass. I mean, look at him.
Sedano and Cap. That first Monday of 2025 right now.
Beep, ba-da-bop. Do, ba-da-bop. Boom, ba-da-bop. Beep, ba-da-bop.
I couldn't wait to do this.
Yeah.
Boom, ba-da-ba. Anybody else who wants to join in?
I missed you. Although I don't miss you that much anymore because I ran into you and had lunch with you, but I still miss you.
I miss you. I miss you. I miss DeAndre. I know this is going to shock
I
the
definitely
world.
miss DeAndre.
Yeah, when I say I miss Lindsay baseball.
Yeah.
Funchy Love is in the
Funchy
house
Love.
today, filling in for baseball. I miss Funchy. And I got to say one thing, if I'm being really, really candid here for a quick second. I miss the circle of trust. I feel like at the end of the year, there was a lot of consternation in the circle.
And it feels like things have just kind of like started to filter itself in a way where everybody's like in a better mood.
I think that I missed the circle. I'm going to take a stab here that you probably missed the circle.
I did. I made sure to let them know the worm turned yesterday, though.
I am sure you did.
Yeah.
I really, yesterday was one of those weird days, though, where so few NFL games actually meant something.
Yeah.
That I found
it was
myself
terrible. I mean, the games were, I guess, somewhat competitive early, but I didn't watch almost any of the early games.
Yeah, because there was one game in particular I was watching. I was watching the Patriots and the Bills.
Right, your boy.
Yeah, well, yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that. But the Adam Archuleta, who was the color commentator on the CBS broadcast, shout out to Spiro Ditas, who, you know, I'm a huge Spiro fan. He's a close friend. But I will say that, like, Adam Archuleta made a comment yesterday on one of the broadcasts, which was, Week 18 of the NFL has now turned into Week 4 of the preseason, where nothing mattered.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. I think the fact that we have this extra week is silly. Like, because it doesn't really matter very much.
Thank you. When you
it's a waste.
Right, well, when you
I mean, it's good for your squad, though, because your boy is hurt. Your boy's in concussion protocol.
Yeah, that's right.
Jalen Hurts.
But you think about coming into this weekend, right? Like, the Steelers and the Bengals on Saturday was actually an important game for the Bengals, who they needed to win.
Yeah, that one, sure.
Right? So they needed to win.
But that was Saturday.
So then on Sunday, if you're a Bengals fan, you're sitting around because you need Denver to lose.
Yeah.
You need Miami to lose.
But you knew very quickly Denver was going to win. That game was like 14-0 in 2 minutes.
Well, Kansas City, couple of things. One, they already had made their declaration that they were going to start Carson Wentz.
Which, by the way, Mateo was furious as a Patrick Mahomes. You know, he's a big Patrick Mahomes guy. And he's like, the Chiefs are losing? And I'm like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes not playing. He's like, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, they're resting. Trying to explain clinching to a 6-year-old, very difficult.
Yeah. So when you've got the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game that's meaningful on Saturday, then on Sunday you've got the Denver game against Kansas City, which Kansas City's not taking seriously. They're not starting Mahomes and other frontline players. And moreover, I'm sure you heard about this, but this ice storm that was sweeping the nation. By the way, is Southern California the greatest place on planet Earth? I mean, here we are, Christmas time, New Year's. It's freaking summertime outside right now. You know what I mean? And so when Kansas City was stuck on the tarmac the day before, so it cost them like 5-6 hours. So not only were they not starting their guys, by this time they're all furious and they're like uncomfortable. So they just went to take their beating.
Right. Go home.
And more importantly, what Kansas City did yesterday was by taking the beat down, which they didn't care about the game.
Right.
They did the entire AFC playoff picture, all 7 teams, a huge favor.
Oh, right, because everybody knew immediately.
And nobody wanted Cincinnati in these playoffs.
Right, because they didn't want to have to face Joe Burrow off a 5-game winning streak.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the games were not as meaningful, unfortunately, this weekend.
Right.
So even like, okay, I'll give you an example. The Rams game yesterday.
Yeah, it meant nothing.
Right. Meant nothing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess it meant something in the sense of they could have played somebody different, I guess, or whatever.
Right. They could have been the 3 seed rather than the 4 seed.
Right.
And if they were the 3 seed, then they wouldn't be playing Minnesota.
Right. They'd be playing, Washington?
Yes, exactly. So, these games, you could find little pieces of meaning.
Yeah, but not really.
But not really.
Yeah.
And by the way, just here's another thing. The Rams and the
Seahawks.
then
the late game was a dud.
And that was
after a quarter and a half, it was a dud.
And that was the only one that
Halftime,
mattered.
maybe.
And I wanted to wait all day long. I'm like, this is like the NFC Championship
Right. And in the
game.
beginning, midway through the third quarter, it was like, all right,
Terrible.
I'm watching something else.
Right. In fact, you were mentioning the Laker game last night.
Oh, I was watching the end of that. So they were down 22. And see, I was like, I'm interested in this game. And then all of a sudden, Dave McMiniman, who I love, as we love here on the show, I get alerts to his tweets. And he's like, 2-point game. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I put it on last 5 minutes of the game, 2-point game, and I watched the last 5 minutes. And then DeAndre and I start talking ball.
That's right.
In that scenario.
It was funny you guys were talking ball in our group chat, only because I wanted to say to you guys, nobody's watching this Laker game.
No,
we're all watching this Lions-Vikings game.
No, that's not true.
But what happened is the Lions-Viking game became very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably
And
flipped over.
I would say Laker fans are definitely watching the Laker game against the Rockets over the Lions-Vikings.
I guess what my perspective would be, average sports fan is watching the NFL
Right,
game.
but that's not here. Like,
you guys didn't watch the Golden Globes?
my wife did. I didn't.
That's another thing.
Nikki Glazer,
Okay.
I guess I wanted to watch for like a second, but I was like,
I had not 1 second of the Golden Globes.
Yeah, by the way, today's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday, Cappy. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Rams will play wild card Monday night against the Vikings 1 week from tonight at SoFi, and we're talking about it all day long here on your home for the Rams and Rams Football 710 ESPN.
I knew so little about the Golden Globes that today I walked into Funchy and I said, Funchy, I got this guy who's on this group text with me. I don't really know him that well. I mean, I just, we work out together.
Oh.
But I don't know him that well. But apparently he's like this big agent in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he sent a picture from the Golden Globes yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was with this other guy.
Yeah.
And I looked at the guy and I go, I know he's somebody, but I don't know who he is. I said to Funchy, Funchy, who's the actor in this picture? Funch, who was that?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. He's super famous.
So here's this guy that I work out with who's part of this group of about 10 guys. I don't know the guy that well, but I know he's a big shot Hollywood agent, and he's Jake Gyllenhaal's agent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So he sends a picture from the Golden Globes yesterday, like, hey, you guys are all chilling, but I'm going to the Golden Globes.
That's cool.
And he sent a picture with
I
Jake
totally
Gyllenhaal.
love the Golden Globes is cool because it's like a small room. Like that would be a cool thing to go to. You know what is also cool, Cappy, is I saw over the holidays. And by the way, coming up next, let's dive into kind of where we are with the Rams and the Chargers. Yeah, 2 teams in the playoffs here in LA, and then we will get to some Lakers stuff with that loss to the Rockets yesterday. I actually have a fairly large disagreement, I would say, with Coach Reddick. But we'll get to all that. But first, Cappy, you were tweeting about Prize Picks. You were in. See, unlike me, I was kind of removed from the internet in a lot of ways. You were still dialed into Prize Picks, the only place you can get action in the state of California on sports. And here's the thing: download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code Cappy KAPPY, and get yourself a $50 bonus on your first $5 play.
So I was trying to go for like major home runs on Prize Picks over the last couple of days. There's a guy here in LA who works with the ad agency that places Prize Picks for us here on the radio station, and he's been sending me his picks because he's been doing like some heavy duty research on how to find all these underdogs. George, I was playing yesterday in a 6-pick play.
Yeah, it was like a $20,000 or something like that for $20.
$20 play to win $21,875.
I love it.
Can you imagine multiplying your money by 1,000 times?
Yeah.
That a $20 play could turn into $22,000.
I mean, I can't imagine it.
Well, guess what? I can't because I tried and tried
you failed
and tried.
miserably?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Of my 6 picks yesterday, I only hit one guy.
Right.
One guy.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'll just say this. Prize Picks, it's super easy. It's really fun. But the most important thing you need to do is download the Prize Picks app, use the code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y, make that $5 play, get that $50 bonus, and let's all win together during these playoffs.
Prize Picks, baby. Run your game. All right.
Don't miss Travis and DeMarco.
It's T-Raj and D-Far.
That's my resolution for this year.
Is it really?
I'm going to keep an actual calendar in front, so I know.
Why have you not kept a calendar previously?
Because the gray matter has been working.
Weekdays at 9 a.m.
On 710 ESPN.
Here's the scenario. Your home is flooded and there's extensive water damage. This is when it can feel as though your relationship with your insurance has become an abusive one. They don't agree that you need a replacement living arrangement, despite it being glaringly obvious. Then, the insurance adjuster leaves you hanging. You feel abandoned with a home that is no longer livable, and you now have no other choice than to use the insurance contractor to make repairs, which includes their brazen attempt at lowballing the estimate. Okay, so here's what you do. You take a deep breath, then you call Avner Gatt. They're one of California's largest public adjusting firms, and trust me, size does matter in this case because Avner Gatt has experienced it all. Insurance companies can make you feel like a criminal, leaving you with no hope in getting your home back together. Avner Gatt knows exactly how to handle these situations. Not only do they have extensive knowledge on how to handle your dilemma, but they remain passionate about helping people. It's why Avner and his family continue to take the calls themselves at Avner Gatt Inc. They cover all of Southern California, and if I haven't convinced you with all of these truth bombs thus far, just check out what seems to be a never-ending stream of 5-star reviews on Yelp, Google, and the Better Business Bureau. So, whether you have a toilet overflow, a broken water line, a burst supply line, a broken fire sprinkler, whatever the water damage is at home, call Avner Gatt today. 818-917-5256. That's 818-917-5256. And you can go online to avnergatt.com.
Nosferatu has been hailed as a modern masterpiece.
Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It transcends the genre and takes your breath away.
Does evil come from within us or from beyond?
Director Robert Eggers' superbly crafted cinematic achievement is a perfect film in every way.
There is a storm rising.
It's the best picture of the year. Nosferatu. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. Special engagements in Dolby and IMAX. Now playing only in theaters.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Harry Douglas here. Say goodbye to bulky, clunky shavers that clutter your bathroom. Not only do you get an incredible shave, Panasonic's Palm Razor has a sleek, elegant design that adds a touch of sophistication to your bathroom. It also conveniently charges with a USB cord. Visit shop.panasonic.com/sports to shop for the Palm Razor. Use promo code HARRY for 10% off exclusively for ESPN radio listeners. That's shop.panasonic.com/sports, promo code HARRY.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
This is Sedano and Cap for your afternoon drive.
Walks around like a little puppy dog.
On 710 ESPN.
Had to have you. I'm looking for a new love, baby. A new love.
Yeah.
Your girl.
Yeah. Why is she my girl?
I don't know. I thought she was your girl.
Hey,
I thought it was your girl.
Yeah,
Jody
Funch told me
Watley.
that you
Jody Watley?
know her.
No? Wasn't that your girl?
Jody Watley's my girl.
Yeah.
But she ain't like my number one girl.
No, I'm saying, but like, you talk about her like she's your girl.
I'm a Jody Watley fan, number one.
Yeah.
This is how lame we all are. Like when somebody follows you that you think is cool, like Jody Watley gave me a follow because she's a huge 710 listener. Like, I was like, okay, that's really cool. And I become more in love with Jody Watley.
Right.
You know who I'm in love with right now, by the way?
Who
followed me, which I was like, really? This person followed me? Like, I thought for sure it was like a scam. Was George Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, George Lopez.
Oh, he listens to the show all the time.
George Lopez is a huge fan of 710.
Yeah.
And so because I thought it was BS, I didn't think it was like real that George Lopez was following me. I wrote him a note like in Twitter, like a direct message, and then he wrote me back, and I was like, I actually think this is George Lopez.
Oh, no, it is.
You know?
Absolutely.
Because I was telling him,
we did a Hispanic Heritage Month.
I remember that
thing a couple years ago.
I remember that. Yeah, so George.
With your boy, El Titan.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So George Lopez, my brother, mi hermano.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's one of my favorite George Lopez bits where he says, every Mexican family, he says, has somebody in the family who's really smart. He goes, and the way they prove how smart they are is they use big words like basically. So every word is like basically, the basics, basically of the situation, basically why. And so to me, I freaking love George Lopez. Huge fan. Love you, George. Anyway, where were we? By the way, can I ask one other question?
Sure.
I want to tell you guys something.
Yeah.
You're looking at a guy today, all right? Look at me right now. You're looking at a guy that is completely refreshed, okay?
That's right.
My brain is on fire because for the last 2+ weeks, I have taken off.
Right.
No Cappy Cast, no Sedano and Cap, no 5 hours a day of talking.
Right.
No prepping.
Yeah.
No, researching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am like I regenerated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of brain cells over the past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I'm fresh. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm calm. I'm ecstatic about the new year.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling great. Now, you and I, George, just last week were having lunch.
Yes.
And you were recounting to me, like, while I was living the retired life,
I did
humping.
12 games in 14 days.
I mean, this freaking guy.
Yeah.
I actually ran the board for one of your bowl games.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah.
I was like,
Is that the one I did in Phoenix? Kansas State, Rutgers?
And Rutgers, yep. Yeah.
It's a great game.
Really good.
Here's you and me, like, we're telling each other our stories at lunch last week. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? I'm like, well, George, I've been going on long walks. I've been going to F45.
Reading poetry.
I've been eating and drinking every night.
Yeah.
I've been going to comedy shows and concerts, and I have just been living the life, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how about you? How's things going by you?
And then I gave you the rundown of the 12 games in 14 nights.
Right. And the travel problems.
Yeah, I almost didn't make it to my Christmas Day game.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
So you have been out there working
Anyone
hard.
who followed me on Instagram, though, had
We
that.
all saw it.
Yeah, saw that story.
Me, on the other hand, I swear to you, I never thought I'd ever retire in my life. I still don't think I'll ever retire.
Oh, no, I would.
But I will tell you this right now.
No question about it.
If I had the money to just live the way I lived the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I wasn't living extravagantly.
Right.
But if I had the money to just live the way I was living, I played so much golf in the last 2 weeks. I played more golf in the last 2 weeks than I played in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If I could live the life I've lived in the last 2 weeks, I'd be a very happy guy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that you should be.
It's going to be a long time.
Well, you also have the kids.
That's the problem.
I mean, they're like draining you.
But I'm close. I'm telling you, I'm close. My daughter.
Wait, didn't you have one just move back in?
My son moved back in.
How is that going to help?
Well, because I've already I'm pushing on him. I'm like, you got to get jobs. He's like, jobs? Why do I have to get jobs? I'm like, look how I work, Jack. I work 3 jobs. You work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
So I don't want to.
You're
work
like
3
Jamaican Cappy.
100% I'm Jamaican. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, but my daughter started a new job today, like a big girl job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she's got about another month and then off the payroll.
Yeah. I mean, listen. He should come out to, Ireland's son works at Islands, where we're going to be.
Island by
Exactly. Join us this Friday for the first 710 event of 2025. It's going down at the Islands in Manhattan Beach for an all-day live broadcast and Wildcard Football Friday party. It starts at 9 a.m. with Travis and DeMarco, Mason in Ireland at noon, and us at 3, all doing our shows live and in person with huge giveaways. Islands in Manhattan Beach, 3200 North Sepulveda Boulevard. We'll see you on Friday.
By the way, Beto just told me by text that George Lopez is a bad guy. He is not loved by Mexicans right now.
Oh.
He is a hater, to which this is news to me.
I love him. Sorry.
This is news to me.
I love him.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
I don't know.
I mean, Beto, you can have your opinion. We can have ours.
No, Beto speaks for all Mexicans. So if Beto tells me that Mexicans are not happy with George Lopez, I'm not happy with George Lopez on behalf of my Mexicano hermanos y hermanas. Pero I still love the brother.
Somebody, Grand in L.A. should do a Photoshop of Beto at like the consulate of Mexico here in Los Angeles, and just like Beto being in like a suit out there outside of the consulate, El Consulado de Mexico,
and some sort of like anti-Lopez signage of some sort.
Yes,
we're mad at you.
Cappy,
talk to me.
So the Chargers. I know you've been trying to push this off.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
You were wrong.
It wasn't 10. It was 11, mother bleepers.
Yeah.
11 wins. How about that?
When they have.
And by the way, Raider fan, we're not going to forget about you. Trust me.
Raider fan. I saw somebody.
You screwed up. They screwed up their chance at a quarterback. They're so ridiculous. How do you screw up your chance at a quarterback?
Well, when you say they screwed up their chance at a
They're
quarterback.
not going to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward unless they trade up.
Well, I looked at the draft order earlier today, and where are they?
The Titans have the number 1 pick. They're taking a quarterback, bro. Yeah. They ain't taking mayonnaise, coffee drinking Will Levis for next year.
Here's what the draft looks like at the end of the regular season. Titans number 1, Browns 2.
That's another team that needs a quarterback.
Browns 2, Giants 3. There's another team that needs a quarterback. Right. Patriots 4, Jaguars 5.
You're good there. But your boy.
Yeah, well.
Your boy got let go.
Yeah, I was pretty unhappy yesterday.
Although they owe him a lot of money, right?
They owe him a lot of money.
Oh, good, dude. He's fine. He can live like you want to live.
Oh, listen, can you imagine? You imagine having like a regular job? Like we all have regular jobs.
Yeah.
I know people.
No, we don't really have.
I know people
jobs.
are listening right now, going, "You don't have a regular job."
No, we don't. We don't have.
But what I mean by a regular job is this. Like, I'll give you guys an example.
Oh my God! So many people were trying to get into past the velvet rope on the circle of trust.
New people.
I got to approve a bunch of people.
Wanted.
Yeah.
Let me give you guys an example. I had a friend of mine. Who last year had a job with a company 30 years.
No.
He worked at this company.
And got let go?
30 years. They decide we're not going to renew your contract, which is essentially a way of saying we're letting you go.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Why? Chances are because he was at the top of the org chart. He was making good money.
Too much money.
Right. Too much money.
Yeah.
We can let him go.
Yeah.
We can take the guy behind him who's making half.
Yeah.
And we can put him into the role and not have to give him twice as much.
No doubt. That's what Chris is going to do with us one day.
Probably so.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be DeAndre and Fungi in the afternoon.
That's why But here's this friend of mine, 30 plus years at this company. They tell him we're not going to renew your contract. So you know what they gave him?
Yeah.
They gave him 6 months of severance.
And 6 months? That's it?
30 years at the company.
Isn't it? Shouldn't it be like 1 month for every year that you're supposed to be there? Isn't that like the standard?
I don't know what the hell happened.
So that would be supposed to be almost. He should get almost 3 years.
He was telling me
I'd
the
sue
story.
their ass.
So listen to this. So he got like 6 months of severance.
Where's Jacob when you need him? 844-24 Jacob.
6 months of severance, and then he got all of his like personal days. They got paid for. So let's just say he got paid. Call it, I don't know, a year's worth of salary. Okay, my buddy just got fired by the New England Patriots, and to me, I have to laugh at the Patriots. I don't care that you think that Mike Vrabel is like the next great coach. So listen, Mike Vrabel's career as a head coach in the NFL, 45-35. Good. He's a winning coach.
I mean, the Titans aren't like some bastion of stability.
Of course, but I don't think that Mike Vrabel.
Excellent usage of the word bastion.
Very nice.
Yes.
I don't think Mike Vrabel is what Sean Payton is.
No.
He's not what even Mike McCarthy is.
Yeah.
Very frankly, And so if the Patriots fired Gerard Mayo to get to Mike Vrabel, I don't know that was some great move. Like it's not like hiring Andy Reid. You can't look at this Patriots team this year.
Vrabel is the hottest name on the market, though.
He is the hottest name.
Yeah.
But you could look at this year's Patriots team and go, you could get the greatest coach of all time. You get Bill Belichick to come coach this team, and they're not going to be any better. And by the way, the year before with Bill Belichick, same number of wins.
Cappy, I hate to break it to you. They've texted me earlier. I'm going to be the interviewing for the offensive coordinator job in New England.
Well, hey, listen, apparently they pay really well.
Yes.
So
there you go.
But can you imagine having a job where they fire you?
Yeah.
Okay. And they owe you $5+ million.
I mean, I don't know if he wanted you to put that out there, but okay, nonetheless.
No, I don't think that's any problem.
I mean, yeah. But you know what I'll do, Cappy, to make I'm going to go over there and tell I don't want the job because you fired Alex Van Pelt. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to my home away from home at LAX tomorrow, just to fly across the country.
And you go see Bob Kraft.
I'm going to see Bob Kraft. Tell him, you know what? I don't want your stinking job. Okay.
I'm not even sure Mike Vrabel wants it. Just by the way.
Yeah, and by the way, at LAX, changes are arriving daily to reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the traveler experience. The LAX Economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. That's where I'll park my car. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, Who doesn't want to get to their flight faster? And a new facility for your friends and family when they come to visit you will soon have all major rental car brands under one roof. And in the future, if you're a local, you don't even need a car to get to LAX because the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. You take the Metro to the Century Station, People Mover train right to your terminal. There you go. Check it out on their website, flylax.com for more information. That's flylax.com.
Whether you need a big stop late in the game.
Edwards downloaded DiVincenzo. Blocked by Davis again. Another block for Anthony Davis. Here's Reeves. Lay it up and in.
A 3-ball from downtown.
Davis for 3. Good! Anthony Davis!
Or a power slam in the paint.
LeBron down the middle. Alley-oop! AD for the dunk.
AD is doing it all this season.
We're going to empower him as much as he wants to be empowered. If he wants to be first team All-NBA and he wants to be in the MVP conversation all year long, we're going to empower him to do that.
You know, for me, I'm just trying to be aggressive and do what I have to do to help the team win. You know, Jay want me to be the hub, and, you know, but my job remains the same, to come out and be aggressive and let the team feed off of that.
LeBron's got it. Full head of steam. LeBron to AD. Slam dunk.
Catch every thrill from AD and the Lake Show this season.
Right here on 710 ESPN.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
The most followed sports radio station in America.
710 ESPN.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
And it is Sedano and Cap. Monday afternoon, welcome back to the new year. Happy birthday to the Hall of Famer, the Raider. And, of course, from the NFL on Fox, Howie Long. And on this day in 1973, a song about Cappy, You're So Vain, by Carly Simon, was a #1 hit. Sedano and Cap continues your Monday afternoon right now.
You're so vain. Yeah. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. DeAndre is looking at me right now like, I have no idea what this is all about. I can't believe you know the words to this song.
It's a very popular song in the late 70s.
I've actually heard this song before.
You have.
Look at that.
You know this song.
See? You were
Schooling your
doubting.
ass.
You schooling me, huh?
Schooling your ass.
Really?
Yeah. 2025, I'm coming different.
Oh, come on now.
There you go.
That's what I'm
about to
talking
get
about.
educated
Yeah,
in this.
come correct.
Lupo becomes a teacher.
Yeah. I love it.
Cappy, you sent us an email.
I did.
Over the holidays.
Indeed.
About different conversations you want to have based off our time away from each other.
We've been off as a team for like the better part of almost 3 weeks because you took off to go start calling 12 games in 14 days.
Yes.
So your last day was December 16th.
Yes.
My last day was December 20th.
Right.
And here's today, Monday, January 6th. We're back on the air together as a team. So I said it would be interesting to hear what everybody thought about certain stuff that we might have been talking about before we left.
Yeah.
So, Funchy, hit us up with our first question so that we can all kind of give an answer as to what is the first one.
We should have like some music,
Yeah,
something. You pick something that's got like a beat to it, not necessarily anything with words, DeAndre. Just something that's got like a beat to it.
You want me to do a beatbox if anybody?
No,
needs
no,
me
don't
to?
do
No?
that.
You sure?
Yeah,
The
please.
Run DMC beatbox. I can do that again.
Anything with just like a beat.
Okay, let's see what DeAndre comes up with now that he's going to
While
school
Funchy's
us.
going.
Now
Yeah.
that he's going to school us. All right, Funch. First question though for Sedano and myself.
Okay, guys, what was your personal sports highlight of the break and also your low light of the break?
All right, George, you're up. Personal sports highlight because you were out at a lot of cool places. I thought you would tell us about something fun that you had done. or a game that you broadcast or something like that.
Personal sports highlight.
Think about it now.
Man, that's a great question. So I gave you the low light. You already kind of referenced it. Is me trying to get to Dallas for Christmas Day and American Airlines having a disastrous day where their computers failed them in the morning, and then Dallas had severe weather. I had to spend the night at a different hotel 35 miles away to get to a different airport, and took Southwest Airlines, which failed me on the front end of my trip, to get me to Dallas on time, basically an hour before I needed to leave. So that was definitely my low light. I would say the highlight of... See, a sports highlight?
Yeah, because, listen, how many bowl games did you call?
I called a bunch of them.
Okay, so between bowl games and
3 of
NBA
them.
games and G League games, there's got to be a highlight in there. What was the highlight of the last 3 weeks of your sports life?
Honestly, if I had to think about it, I'll say this. So, obviously, I've been chasing this dream very late in life of calling games, right? Or late in life for people that call games, right? Most of them start in their 20s.
Yeah.
I started this in my 40s. So I would say this. When I went, and this is going to sound ridiculous, when I went and called the G League Showcase, right, which is their midseason tournament, I hadn't called a basketball game since the playoffs. And that was on radio, which is, as you know, radio and TV are different art forms. And I walked right in. So it's funny because this kind of ties together. Remember, the first part of the low light was Southwest Airlines saving me from American Airlines and me getting to Dallas on Christmas Day within an hour of when I was going to be picked up from the hotel. So Southwest Airlines failed me on the first day of the G League Showcase. I had a 5 a.m. flight from New Orleans that sat on the tarmac for almost 100 minutes, okay? And I had a game to call that morning at 11 a.m., I got to the arena 10 minutes before tip-off.
Oh, my God.
And maybe, honestly, no joke, called the game as well as I've probably called a basketball game.
What was their contingency plan if you didn't show up?
They had the guy who was going to do the after, because several games during the day.
So they had it back.
The afternoon guy was just going to come in and do the games if I couldn't make it.
Got
it. He was going to do all the games. So I walked in, no joke, straight up, walked into the arena, 10 minutes. Guys are warming up. I sat there, no notes, just did the game, and did a really good job. So I came away saying to myself, holy crap, that was kind of impressive.
Sometimes you over-prepare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you just should let the game kind of come to you. You got to know who the players are and where they went to school or whatever.
Right.
But I think broadcasters so over-prepare for things that they almost kind of get tight versus what you did, which is let it fly.
Right. I mean, I had to trust my preparation going into it. And I didn't have a bunch of notes ready because normally on a day like that, I would have in the morning, I would have had time to set up my notes in a more reasonable way. But because I didn't know what was going on with the airline and I'm on Southwest, it's not like I have a ton of room to write and stuff. It wasn't my usual setup, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
Got the contract.
Yeah. But so I walked in and just, I don't want to say winged it, but I kind of winged it in some ways.
And that's a great highlight. That's exactly why I wanted to ask you about this. For me, I'll tell you guys this. My low light of the entire holiday, it culminated yesterday, but it actually had happened the week before.
Oh, I know.
Week 17 of the NFL season.
Yep.
To see the Chargers not just beat the New England Patriots, but annihilate the Patriots.
Destroy them.
Right. And so not only you have the team that I despise, the Chargers, beating up on the team that I love at the time, the Patriots.
Now you hate them.
Right now I don't care about the Patriots ever again. In fact, I got all this Patriots merch I got to get rid of now.
Yeah.
But my low light was really seeing the Chargers go cross country and hand it to the Patriots because it made the Patriots situation look more like people could get fired.
Right.
And then, of course, the ultimate low light was yesterday when the Patriots actually finally win a game. Again, a meaningless game. But then they go and they fire the head coach. They fire all the coordinators. And it just kind of sucks because, listen, when a coach gets fired, more often than not, you're like, hey, listen, that guy's leaving with $5 million. That guy's leaving with $20 million.
You think if he didn't win the game, you think he would have been not fired?
It's a good question. Did they fire them because they screwed up the draft by winning the game? But I don't think so. I think Robert Kraft fired that coaching staff because first of all, I think because he thinks Vrabel's going to be his next head coach, and he better get Vrabel now. And Vrabel interviewing with the Jets made him nervous. I think that's the first part.
Yeah.
And the second part is, hey, we made a decision to hire a first-time head coach. That was our succession plan. You know what? We think we're great owners, But we were great owners when we had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and 20 years of success.
Yeah.
Now we're the Raiders again.
Yeah.
You know, where we flip coaches every couple of years.
The Patriots were terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my low light is what happened to the Patriots.
Yeah. What's the highlight?
Here's my highlight.
Well, and the Chargers, you mentioned
Right,
that too.
right.
Yeah.
Here's my highlight. I'm going way off the board here, but very personal, just like yours.
Yeah.
Okay. So Christmas Day happens, and then the next day, December 26th, is opening day at Santa Anita, right? Now listen to this. We've got this horse named Raging Torrent.
The horse?
The horse. The horse. This horse is named Raging Torrent.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a race on opening day at Santa Anita called the Malibu Stakes. And in the race, George, is the Kentucky Derby winner, Mystic Dan. So here we are. We're this little operation, and we've got a horse in against the Kentucky Derby winner.
Right.
Kentucky Derby winner's going to kill us, right?
Right.
Somehow, some way, we go off as the favorite in this race. And let me play for you what happened. Listen to this. The horse's name is Raging Torrent. Go ahead and play it, DeAndre.
It's a gap of 5 to Winterfell. Nothing yet from Mystic Dan. They passed the quarter pole and turned for home. Pilot Commander's been there every step of the way. There's room for imagination coming through as Stronghold puts his head in front on the outside. They're in the final furlong, and it's Raging Torrent. Stronghold coming gamely after him and down at the rail. Imagination. Raging Torrent by 2 past the 16th pole, and Raging Torrent and Frankie Dettori cruise to victory in the Malibu. Stronghold was second, Imagination third in front of Pilot Commander and Winterfell.
So, George, that race was a $300,000 grade one race.
Crazy.
And by winning that race, let me tell you what happened.
You know how I found out you won that race?
How's that?
Crypto Ray.
No way. Yeah, Crypto Ray did a whole video about it. Wait, but let me tell you what happens to this horse next. And again, we're this little operation, right?
Yeah.
The horse is expected to go to Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
In April for a $1 million race.
Wow. How much do you get of that if they win?
How do you get a horse to Dubai?
You fly them.
Well, I asked the same question at lunch. I asked the exact same question.
I don't know how you get
How the hell did the horse get
right.
there?
Does the horse stand the whole time? Does he lay down? I don't know what they do exactly.
Yeah.
And they must fly him over there to get him acclimated.
The sheiks fly him?
Right. But, dude, I'm telling you, I may go to Dubai in April.
Wait, the sheiks are flying you too?
I don't know if the sheiks are going to fly me. If they don't fly me, I don't think I'm going.
Right, because you're not paying for Dubai.
But come on. Dubai's not like on my bucket list, but to have a horse in a race in Dubai?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. So that's my sports.
That's
my,
awesome.
My personal sports highlight.
I love
of
it.
The break.
I love it.
Raging
Yeah.
Torrent. By the way, La Raza won a lot of money on this thing because Beto spread the word to everybody.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, listen, man, he goes, I'm spreading the word to everybody to bet on this horse. As a matter of fact, Beto told me the story. He was at Terranea for like a holiday party and ran into a friend of his and he goes, hey, by the way, I've got a tip on a horse. And he says, Raging Torrent, the day after Christmas, going to be a winner. And his boy Razzo put down $100 and won big.
There you go.
So
shout out to Razzo.
Shout out to
nothing
Razzo.
worse than the horse
and La Raza.
There you go. Cappy, coming up next, congratulations on the horse.
Hey, congratulations on your 12 broadcasts in 14 days. That's spectacular.
Honestly, by the end, I don't know what I was even thinking anymore.
I was living the retired life.
Yeah,
man,
and my brain.
for 2 weeks.
It's so funny. Like I did the Alamo Bowl at the end, which was a terrible game, and it was the one I thought was going to be the best. It was terrible. BYU, Colorado. And while I was doing the game, my brain was like fried. And I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't bad. And I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, this is a terrible broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not. It was fine. But Cappy, coming up next, I'm going to take exception with one of your boys.
Who's that?
Oh, I'll tell you who on the other side, because your boy is taking a big swipe at my guy, Sean McVay. We'll get to that next.
Never have to miss a moment of LA's mega sports station. Get the all-new ESPN LA app.
Just search ESPN LA in your App Store or Google Play.
Download, tap, and bam!
You got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hand.
Hey, it's DeMarco. I know a thing or two about Super Bowls. I've been there, won that. If you want to experience the big game like a pro, Absolute Sport has you covered. From premium tickets to exclusive parties to first-class accommodations, their Super Bowl packages are the MVP of the fan experience. Don't sit on the sidelines. Be a part of the action. Go to us.absolute-sport.com. That's ABSOLUT-sport to lock in your spot. Absolute Sport, it's how champions watch the Super Bowl.
No Nosferatu has been hailed as a modern masterpiece.
Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It transcends the genre and takes your breath away.
Does evil come from within us or from beyond?
Director Robert Eggers' superbly crafted cinematic achievement is a perfect film in every way.
There is a storm rising.
It's the best picture of the year. Nosferatu, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent. Special engagements in Dolby and IMAX, now playing only in theaters.
You never expect a Hail Mary pass to win and end the game or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Trav with DeMarco. Only one all-star defense team you can call to defend you. The personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. Don't get sacked by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000. Let Joseph and his team score a touchdown for you.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News and World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a good karma brands radio station.
710 ESPN.
Sedano and Cap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. It's the 90 minutes from wherever you are. Take it away, Funch.
Thank you, Sedano. You guys know about the WWE moving to Netflix now.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
tonight, right?
Tonight they debut
really?
Monday Night
Monday Night
Raw
Raw
on
starts tonight.
Netflix. So not only does Netflix have NFL now, they have the WWE.
Oh, well, although I will say this. Netflix on the NFL, those two games were dogs that day.
Which games were they? I'm trying to
KC
remember.
Pittsburgh,
Okay, right.
which was not competitive in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
anymore. And then the other game was Houston and the
Baltimore.
Ravens. Yeah, and that was a disaster.
Oh, that was such a bad game.
Yeah.
Is that the Beyonce Bowl? That was a Beyonce
Yes,
Bowl, right?
Beyonce did
That was the
halftime.
only. So
That was the highlight of the game.
It peaked during Beyonce, and then it was like after that.
Do you know that I still have not seen Beyonce's performance at halftime?
Me
that
too.
day?
Me too.
All
Me neither.
I did was see everything that was on social media. By the way, can I just give a compliment? Beyonce, what a tuchus! Oh my God, is she gorgeous?
Shocking. All of a
I know,
sudden.
but
Yes.
but apparently she was wearing like this.
She's only
white
been around for
out-
like
but
20 years.
But there was like this bustier thing that she was wearing, and
Yeah.
they had these pictures from behind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at that thing. You know what I mean? Beautiful. Love you, Bay.
All right, that is what you need
What
to
you
know.
need also, it's Monday Night Raw will be at the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play.
Yes,
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, The Miz was around here the last couple days on ESPN here in L.A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he was, he actually, I saw him do an interview on the Clippers broadcast, and he took a swipe at James Harden.
What did he say?
Because she asked Lauren Rosen, who's one of the sideline reporters. They have Lauren Rosen and Christina Pink.
I like Christina Pink. I don't know Laura Rosen, but I like Christina Pink.
Both
a lot.
are very good.
Yeah.
Christina Pink does NFL games too,
like
right? So Lauren asks him, like, hey, if you had to pick a Clippers player that would be a good WWE wrestler, who would you pick? He's like, oh, James Harden. He's like, except during the playoffs. And she handled it well. She's like, oh, I think he does well all the time. And then, like, Brian Seaman and
Brian Seaman.
He's the play-by-play broadcaster for the Clippers.
Nice guy. Love that guy.
He's very talented, yes, and he's an incredible guy.
Yes.
But his last name is funny, right?
Sieman.
It's not spelled like that, but
I know,
yes.
but like I have a really close friend of mine, same last name, Seaman, although it's spelled S-E-A-M-O-N.
So anyway, him and Jim Jackson, they kind of like weren't thrilled about it, but they kind of played it off
Why?
okay.
What are they not thrilled
I mean,
about?
they
He's
didn't
funny.
want.
He's a wrestler.
It's fine, but they wanted to defend their guy, James Harden.
Hey, listen, all I know is that Netflix, you got to give it up. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, Clippers looked good the other night with Kawhi back.
Yeah,
They crushed whoever they were playing. I forgot now. Oh, it's Atlanta. Yeah.
I was talking to this guy the other day on the call, and he was like, "Hey, you ever go to any Clipper games?" And I'm like, "No, I only go to Laker
You should
games."
go to Intuit, dude.
Yeah, I'd still like.
It's
I really
sick.
would like to go. He goes, "Well, you know what?" He goes, "I had these Clipper tickets." He goes, "I had season tickets for the Clippers." He goes, "But I started to get really mad because Kawhi wouldn't play." And I go, "What? Like, wait, you're a season ticket holder for the Clippers, and you think Kawhi's name is Kawhi?"
I had a friend call him Kahi.
Kahi?
Kahi Leonard.
If you're a season ticket holder to the Clippers, you should know that it's pronounced Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think he's had enough of a career.
Yeah. This guy's won 2 Finals MVPs.
Right. I mean, the guy's been Defensive Player of the Year. The
Twice.
guy has shut down LeBron. The guy has had a game-winning shot in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that if you're a Clipper season ticket holder, you would know his name is Kawhi, not Kwahi.
Yeah. Correct.
Anyway.
Yes. So WWE on Netflix. There it is. All right, Cappy.
You said you had an issue.
I got an issue with your boy, Dan Campbell. You know what? He may be bigger than me. He may be stronger than me. I will fight his ass for Sean McVay and the disrespect that he posed to Sean McVay. So in the game yesterday,
We're going to kick you in the teeth, and we're going to bite a kneecap off.
I will bite your kneecap too.
Well, it's perfect size, like from you.
For
to him,
sure.
you're like right in his
Yeah,
kneecap.
no doubt.
You bite those
Also,
things.
other areas that are dangerous for him, I would say.
Well, you bite him in the kneecap, you headbutt him in the base.
More
you know what I'm saying?
dangerous, right? Like I'll do like what's Chewy to Morales,
Right, use it as a speed bag
in the schwanz. Yeah, exactly. So he in the post game, he's going to shake hands like the coaches customarily do, with Kevin O'Connell, who obviously, as we all know, worked for Sean McVay at one point, and he said something, and O'Connell did not respond. But he said something that was caught on the microphones that I thought was incredibly disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, play it.
Good job, Greg. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Might see him in 2 weeks.
Great job. Good season. I'll see you in 2 weeks. To which Tirico giggles and says, I might see you in 2 weeks.
Right.
So you have a problem with that.
So, yeah, like he's completely disrespecting the coach in the NFC with the most playoff experience, okay? Granted, the Vikings are favored, and they should be. They're 14-3, okay?
But wait a second. The Vikings are favored in the game against the Rams Monday night in L.A.
Correct.
However, remember, the Vikings yesterday were a 14-2 team. They've now lost to the Detroit, so they're 14-3. But of the 2 losses that they had prior to last night's game,
one of them was to the Rams.
Right. So it's kind of interesting to me that the
But
Rams
it's hard
are
to
home
beat a team twice, is what I would say, in the same season.
In the same building. Right. So, I'm almost a little surprised, though, that the Rams are the underdog, according to Vegas. I don't look at the Rams as the underdog. In fact, you talk about the Chargers. The Chargers are going to Houston. The Chargers are favored by 2.5. The only 2 games where the road team is favored, Chargers by 2.5, and then you've got the Rams that are underdogs at home against the Vikings. So you have a problem with what Dan Campbell said.
I do, because I think it's incredibly disrespectful to a coach who's been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, okay, has the most playoff experience of any coach in the playoffs right now in the NFC, and has a quarterback, even though he has been dinged up and has not played great recently, that is the only quarterback in the NFC that's currently playing that has a Super Bowl ring. Like, it's unbelievably disrespectful. And here's the thing. Dan Campbell was Mr. Everybody loves him because he's like the everyman, and, he's a football guy, and, he's like a man's man. And you know what? I hope he gets his ass handed to him at some point this season.
Well,
the Detroit Lions were going to be this feel-good story. No longer for me.
No longer.
I want him to get his ass handed to him now.
Well, listen, you may have...
Cocky-ass mother bleeper.
Well, hey, listen, think about what you're looking at here, okay? You're looking at the winner of last night's game, Detroit or Minnesota. One was going to be the number 1 seed, one was going to be the number 5 seed. And if you were the Rams, you had a chance on Sunday against Seattle in what was essentially a meaningless game for the Rams, which I'm going to just go on a slight tangent and I'll come right back. The Seahawks have the same record as the Rams, but they were eliminated before the game yesterday because of little mathematic technicalities, which was not very well publicized at all, because the Rams had beaten the Seahawks earlier in the year, But if the Rams, if the Seahawks had beaten the Rams, which they did yesterday, they would have split the season series, and they both would have had the exact same record. So there's all these little mathematic technicalities that already had the Seahawks eliminated. Okay, now I'm coming back to Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, he wanted that number 1 seed. He wants to win all the way through at home. For the Rams, they could have won that game yesterday, or at least they could have attempted to win that game yesterday, which they almost did, frankly. And then they could have been the number 3 seed. And they would have Washington coming rather than having Minnesota coming.
Right.
The Rams did not do themselves any favors by saying, we're going to rest our guys.
Yeah, I think that Sean McVay valued rest over the potential opponent.
Not surprising, knowing his preseason philosophy.
Correct.
But more importantly for Sean McVay.
And by the way, doesn't Matthew Stafford need some rest considering the way he looked down the stretch? He
100%.
threw, 3 touchdowns in 3 games or whatever it was? They scored like 21. They scored 3 offensive touchdowns in their last 3 games.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But I'll say this about McVay, and this was part of his post-game comments, and these post-game comments were, of course, before it was decided whether or not it would be Minnesota or Detroit that would have won. So this is yesterday afternoon. McVay says, it doesn't really matter to us who we're playing. You know, it doesn't matter. And I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, we're at home. We are a team that won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. We are a team that was in the postseason last year. And the Rams are very resilient.
Yes.
Right? Because think about what happened this year.
Oh, my God. They should have been out of it.
Should have been.
A long time ago.
When many of us thought they were going to have the season fall apart and be just a disaster.
We were talking at one point, could they get the number 1 pick or should they tank for the number 1 pick?
But that's how great coaches keep teams alive. Listen, I'm not a big Mike McCarthy fan, and it's not like he did anything special with Dallas this year, but there was that moment in the season where Dak got hurt and everything was going wrong, and players were airing him out, and they fought back. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's what Sean McVay had this team do, because remember, they were 1-4.
Yeah.
1-4, and most of us thought they were
3-6.
toast. Right. Most of us thought they were toast.
By the way, weren't they 3-6 the year before?
So they were 1-4 this year. Then they won 3 straight games to get themselves back to 4-4.
Wow.
Then they lost to the Dolphins 4-5, beat the Patriots, which wasn't all that impressive at the time, right? 5-5. They lost to the Eagles when a lot of people weren't so sure about the Eagles, and then they just went on a tear, and they won 4 straight games.
Right.
You've got to give it up to these guys. Now, you're insulted by this.
I'm insulted for Sean.
Yeah, you're insulted for Sean McVay.
Yes. I will bite his damn kneecaps.
I don't think you should worry about it, and I'll
We're
tell
going
you
to
why.
kick you in the teeth, and if we're going to bite a kneecap off.
I'm going to tell you why.
You better hope you can kick me in the teeth.
I think the Rams will win this game against Minnesota, and I know I'm usually admitting that I'm a homer when I pick the Rams. I actually really believe the Rams will win this game. I think that if you look at Minnesota last night, Sean McVay will analyze that film and go, we're going to do to them what Detroit just did to them, because Detroit made them look bad.
Yeah.
A 14-2 team last night playing against another 14-2 team that has injuries everywhere.
Right.
Running back, linebacker, defensive line, defensive back, you name it, man. The Lions are limping into the playoffs but still winning, whereas the Rams have gotten healthier as the season went on. I think the Rams will beat the Vikings, George, and then the Rams, for the 3rd time,
we'll face Detroit
in a year.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
Because remember, they lost last year in Detroit in the playoffs.
And they lost the
opening game.
Yeah.
And now the Rams are going to find themselves in the second round of the playoffs in Detroit for the 3rd time. You talk about beating a team twice in a year.
Yeah.
How about beating a team 3 straight times in a calendar year?
It is tough. Although Detroit has a better roster, there's no question. And even with the injuries, and they've gotten some guys back. Let's not act like there's still like 47 guys out.
No, but they haven't gotten back a star running back, and they haven't gotten back their star defensive
Right,
end.
but running backs are I don't want to call them a dime a dozen, but they have plenty of guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday, Cappy. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Rams will play Wild Card Monday night against the Vikings. You can hear it right here on 710 ESPN 1 week from tonight at SoFi. We're talking about it all day long here on your home for the Rams and Rams football, 710 ESPN. All right, coming up next, I'm curious to hear what DeAndre thinks about this, but I have a disagreement with Coach Reddick from yesterday.
You are disagreeing with Coach, your boy.
Yes,
You're going to disagree with the man.
I don't know if we're boys, but I disagree with him, is what I would say. And could the worm continue to turn, Cappy? All that coming up next.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. after Greeny.
I don't think I've told you. I used to be in a bowling league.
Oh, you can bowl too.
I a little bit. No,
Okay.
I'm not a good bowler, but I'm not a terrible
You're
bowler.
like 9 feet tall. Though.
Yeah.
How do you get down there?
I was okay. I was in the bowling league when I was in my 20s, so this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I have my own ball. Okay?
Nice.
Okay. And I'm okay, or at least I used to be okay. We go bowling. It's me and my 3 children, my wife, and Bobby's girlfriend, Sarah. Okay? So there's 6 of us. And we got the 3 women on one lane, and we got the 3 boys on the second lane. We're right next to each other. So they're competing, we're competing. Bobby won 2 of the 3 in the men's division.
He beat you.
And Michael won the other one.
You got smoked?
I got skunked, DeMarco.
Well done, Dad.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. At Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. The LAX economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, and in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com/transforminglax. That's flylax.com/transforminglax.
Insurance claim. Those 2 words used to instantly manifest a pit in my stomach. In fact, I get flashbacks of being lowballed and made to feel like a criminal. And of course, just being ignored. No insurance company is in a rush to fairly compensate clients, even though they unabashedly take our money every year. All of that's behind me now, and I'm never going back thanks to Avner Gatt. Dealing with insurance companies is all they do. Avner Gatt has one of the largest teams of professional licensed public insurance adjusters in California, and many of these people used to work for insurance companies. The team at Avner Gatt knows exactly how to handle your claim. You also have some Avner Gatt adjusters with experience in handling hazardous materials, where asbestos and lead testing was their profession. Some of them used to work at law firms handling bad faith claims. Trust me, they know how to deal with any insurance claim dispute. Avner Gatt covers all of Southern California with a real passion for helping people, which becomes all the more obvious when you realize Avner and his family are still the ones answering the phones. So whatever unfortunate occurrence led you to the insurance claim and subsequent abusive relationship, being lowballed, ignored, judged, know that Avner has your back. And if somehow I still haven't convinced you, just check out what seems to be a never-ending stream of 5-star reviews on Yelp, Google, and the Better Business Bureau. Call today. 818-917-5256. That's 818-917-5256 and online at avnergatt.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage up.
All right, parents, here's some fun facts for you here from Children's Dental Fun Zone. First tooth, first visit. Once those teeth pop out, you gotta bring them to Children's Dental Fun Zone. And as far as ortho is concerned, you gotta get those kids here by the age of 8.
Happy 42nd birthday to Gilbert Arenas. You know, Sedano likes that one. And on this day, in 1987, Janet, Let's Wait a While, was released. Sedano and Cap continues your Monday afternoon right now.
Oh, come on.
DeAndre, you ever heard of Janet Jackson?
Yes, I have.
You have, huh?
I have, yes.
All right.
Fun fact about this video. Her love interest in this video was Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon.
Love Bruce Leroy.
Yes.
You know, I watched that movie for the first time.
What'd you think, DeAndre? What'd you think?
You did?
Really?
Who kissed my Converse?
It was pretty. It was funny. Just the way it was directed.
It's so terrible that it's good.
One of my favorite scenes is when what's the guy's name? So you have Bruce Leroy and then the Shogun Warrior.
Yeah.
You know, he's got on like these ridiculous shoulder pads like he's a Raider fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his hair done like he's Gene Simmons on Kiss. And Bruce Leroy goes to throw a punch and he catches his punch. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Right.
I'm the master.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I love that movie.
And
Love
my pops like turned it on. I'm like, what is this? He's like, you never seen this?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you got to sit down and watch this.
That's the kind of movie you need to know.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is definitely that one is like again, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah. There's some language in that movie now.
Oh, yeah,
You
for
can't
sure.
use that language
Nope.
no more. You feel me?
Cappy, I know this had to bother you a little bit. By the way, happy birthday to Raider Ruben's dad, his 70th birthday.
Oh, come on already with Ruben Raider Ruben.
I mean,
and
it's
all
the kids,
shout-outs.
it's the father,
Right,
it's
I just had a baby say something on the air. My pops is turning 70. Say something on the air. The Raiders are,
the Raiders stink. Say something on the air.
The Raiders screwed up their draft by winning in Week 17. All right, Raider Ruben, we got you.
All right, so listen.
And just side note, I've got a bunch of friends that have names that Raider Steve, Raider Jim, Raider Ruben. Who the hell anointed you to put Raider in front of your name?
Yeah.
Why is it only with the Raiders, too?
Yeah, right.
You don't hear Patriots
Raider
Jim.
fans definitely do.
You don't
that,
hear
yeah.
people going, hey, I'm Charger Steve.
Yeah, right.
Nice to meet you. How are you? Hi, I'm Ram Ruben. No, nobody says that.
Nobody says Ram Ruben. That's true. Yeah, it's a good point. So anyway, Cappy, the Chargers.
Yeah, what about
They
them?
have a very winnable game this weekend.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. Like, I honestly, just getting here, like, I feel like, I can't believe that they actually won 11.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of surprised a little bit about that. But then when it was the Raiders, I'm like, yeah, they're going to beat the Raiders.
Yeah,
But
Raiders and Patriots the last couple of weeks didn't matter much, did it?
this notion that, again, the schedule broke their way. They played great defense. They got Dobbins back, which was huge. And when Dobbins was out, he let Herbert sling it a little bit. And I think it has made them a more complete team. Now you got Quentin Johnston playing really well. They still, and they're going to have, going into next season, $80 million in cap space to work with and a bunch of draft picks. So they're in a good place. But for this weekend, this is a Houston Texans team that C.J. Stroud is going through. I wouldn't call it like a sophomore slump, but he's certainly not lighting the world on fire like he did last year. However, he's certainly capable. It's a one-game scenario. They have dealt with a ton of injuries, including poor Tank Dell, who's no longer there, their wide receiver. Joe Mixon, the running back, has been very good at times, but he's been in and out due to injury. Damian Pierce is obviously a pretty good running back. Like, they're a pretty good team, but that's not like one where I say, oh, the Chargers are definitely losing that one. Like, they have, to me, a flip of the coin shot.
I would argue that the Chargers should win the game. Not will, not might. I mean, first of all, they're favored, number one. Number two, listen, think about it like this. The AFC West is by far and away the best division in the AFC. Now, you might hear me say that and go, no, hold on a second. The AFC North's got Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati got shut out of the playoffs. We all know how talented Cincinnati is. The AFC West has Kansas City, the number 1 seed. They've got the Chargers, who are the 5 seed, and they've got Denver, who is the 7 seed. The AFC West brought 3 teams to the playoff party. Point being that if you go through a season and you make it to the postseason, like the Chargers or the Broncos have, you're probably well prepared for the postseason because of the number of games you play in your division. On the other hand, Houston's got one of the worst divisions in all of football. You know, no one is intimidated by the likes of Jacksonville or Indianapolis. So Houston won their division because their division is terrible.
Right.
Now, look, I could sit here all day and I could pick apart the Chargers and I can tell you that I'm just waiting for something bad to happen, which I still am, and it still might.
Oh, I mean,
But
they've made the playoffs.
They made it.
They've had a successful season already.
But I will say this to you, though. One thing I will say. Let's assume the Chargers win the game against Houston, okay? Even with their schedule that was weak, and I'm making the point right now that their schedule inside their division was very strong, other than the Raiders. Sorry, Ruben, but you know, and Raider Steve and Raider Jim and everybody else out there with a Raider before their first name. Raiders were terrible. So the other 3 teams all got in. You know why they all got in? They all have great coaches and Super Bowl champion caliber coaches, even though Harbaugh's not won one, and they all have great quarterbacks. Raiders don't have either of those 2 things. Can they win in Houston? Yes. Will they win? I suspect that they will. Then they play Kansas City. I wouldn't put it past them to shock the world and beat Kansas City.
I mean, come on. I'm not getting crazy here.
Well, here's my point. I don't think that Charger fans think the way you think, which is, hey, this is a successful season. They won 11 games. They made it to the postseason. I think Charger fans, and I know that they're not everywhere, but the few that are out there are like, we really think we can win the Super Bowl this year.
Listen, I think it's already a successful season. Whatever happens from here is gravy, I think. Next year and the years after that, when they have all this money in cap space that they can utilize, when they've got all these draft picks that they can utilize and really build the team more in the mold of what Harbaugh really wants, I think over the next – I told you, he's going to be in a Super Bowl within the first 5 years of him being there. And I feel even more confident now after watching year one, which I think will be the worst, quote-unquote, roster that he'll have. It may not be the worst roster luck that they've had because luck is, it is what it is. But in regards to the actual roster and the way he wants it, this is going to be the worst version of it.
Just so you guys know, this is killing me. This is killing me that I have to watch the Chargers win 11 games, make it to the postseason. They haven't fallen apart yet like I predicted. There hasn't been like the massive
injury.
And
Kirk Morrison, by the way, who's going to join us at 5:15. Yeah,
Kirk and I are both waiting for something.
Because when he comes on, I'm going to bring it up too. Because I text him just like I text you. He was like doing the Pinstripe Bowl or something, and I text him as soon as the game ended, and I'm like, the worm has turned.
Come on, man.
Yeah, just
Why
being honest.
Why don't you lay off?
No.
Now, you're hurting our feelings. And you're taking too much pleasure in our pain.
I mean, even DeAndre was texting the week in week 17.
I bought it. I bought it. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stay out of this.
DeAndre was like, hey, the worm.
Yeah, man.
All right, now you said
Coach Reddick and I have a disagreement.
You and Coach Reddick have a disagreement.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah.
Radio Tinder's around the corner.
Yeah.
And I have another one of these, like, we've had a 3-week break questions for you.
Right.
Okay, so what would you like to do next?
Let's do the question.
Let's do the question.
And then we do Tinder and then Coach Reddick.
You can go off on J.J. Reddick,
Yeah.
which I still can't believe.
Not off.
Sounds like you're going off.
I don't know about going off. I don't agree with him. Okay? He made a comment yesterday. I was like, really? Come on.
All right. Can't wait to hear this. But first, all right, guys. Second question here today.
Yeah, from our holiday survey.
From the Sedano and Cap holiday survey. We've been off the show. The team has not been together for nearly 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Still not together yet, too.
Okay, that's true. Lindsay Baseball's still not here. But we love you, Funch. All right, what's the next question here?
All right, guys. What was the best holiday gift you gave and received? We'll start with Cap.
Best holiday gift you gave and received. Okay. You want me to go first? Since you look like you're contemplating.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, let me go first.
Go ahead,
Think
go
about
first
this.
then.
You ready?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, George, while you were gone that first week, right? Mm-hmm. I sat here for days struggling. What am I going to get my girlfriend? What am I going to get her? Because you got to understand, she'd already given me the best gift.
Mm-hmm.
When I say gift, I mean physical gift, if you will. Rachel gave me a membership to F45. Now, look, I work out every day. I like to work out every day. But the truth of the matter is I'm not working out with any goals. And all I do is sit here and complain about how fat I am.
Right.
So she gave me a membership to F45. F45, for those of you guys that don't know, oh, my God. You walk in, you grab a towel, you bring your water bottle, you go start stretching and warming up. And in 45 minutes, you're in and you're out. No phone, no checking text, no thinking. The coach tells you what to do. The monitors tell you what to do. And you do an entire full body workout.
In 45 minutes.
In 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm working glutes. You know how I complain I got no ass?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm working glutes. I'm working.
Is your tuchus sore?
Yes, I'm working quadzillas. My calves have been hurting. Okay, shoulders, that stuff I don't get to hit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
Abs, too?
Oh, total abs. This F45 workout it's tough.
Right.
Okay? And I did it probably like 5 days a week for like 2 weeks, and I was hurting. I was sore. I was really in bad shape. And I got this membership. I can use the F45 right here in downtown LA. So she gave me this F45 membership, and I thought to myself, she's giving me this gift of like getting healthier. And I couldn't think of what to give her. I couldn't think of a good gift to give her.
Right.
And then I realized she has a back injury. She's been hurting really. She got into a ski accident. She had a boating accident.
Yeah.
Her back is really bad, so she can't do the things she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
She sits at a desk all day. So I gave Rachel an 8-pack of like therapy sessions with this guy who is a acupuncture physical therapist. I'm like, girl, we're going to get your back fixed. And that's what I'm going to do for you. And it's not just a gift where it's something that you hold on to. It's not earrings that you wear or a piece of jewelry. I'm going to get you healthier so you can do all the things you want to do in your life. So for somebody that was struggling as bad as I was, I kind of felt pretty good about that gift.
Nice.
I felt good about what she gave me, what I gave her, and then, of course, the gift of time. right? The gift of time and the gift of having family around. That was really the greatest gift.
So 2 gifts that were, one that was given to me and my wife. One of our we had one family over for New Year's. That they're very close. The 2 twin girls, very close friends with Aria. We had them over. Very small thing, just us, dinner, hang out. I grilled some. My wife made a beef Wellington. Not my cup of tea. That's why I grilled some steaks. I don't need any more bread. You know what I mean?
I understand, but still, that's an ambitious thing to cook.
Yeah, it was great. Just wasn't my cup of tea, and she knows that. She knows who she married. But they ate it and they loved it. So they got us this wine from Napa Valley, which was fantastic. So that was one. But I want to thank one of my childhood friends who I grew up with in Miami. His name is Javi Garcia, and he is Aria's godfather. But he's obviously also he loves Mateo too, and
he's not as much.
Yeah, he sent Mateo a rebounder. Do you know what that is?
Is that like one of those basketball hoops that has like the thing that when your ball goes through, it feeds you back to you?
No, it's for baseball.
Oh, really?
It's basic. The square thing that you throw to it either does grounders or line drives or pop-ups to you, depending on the way that you position it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Saved my. Now I don't have to, because I'm sitting there throwing everything every time, and I'm like, now he can just do it himself.
Yeah, I saw you take him to the park and saw some videos of that.
Yes,
that's cool.
So now
that's a great gift.
So it's a great gift. And then one that we gave, I'm trying to think. We didn't do any adult gifts, so like it was just like kid stuff. We gave Aria and each of them gifts for stuff that they like to do, right? So Mateo is doing this like kind of baseball camp like after school for the next couple weeks. That's something he wanted to do. And then Aria wanted to do this like art class that is not cheap, but she really enjoys it and she's good at it. So we did that. So that's what we gifted them for the holidays. Like you get to do these courses for X amount of time. And they got other gifts like toys and crap, but like whatever. But those are ones that I think that they will actually enjoy because I'm big on experiences, not tangible things.
Well, that's what I was thinking about with Rachel. I was like, why am I going to give her some earrings or a bracelet or some kind of jewelry when I can give her something that's going to help her get better?
Like you, she gave you something to make you less fat.
Right.
All right, Cappy, tell us about Real Father's Rights real quick, because then we're going to do Radio Tinder.
Hey, shout out to my man Mark Real from Real Father's Rights, because I see that he's already making changes in his life too, because I'm following him on social media, and he's on like some 70-day plan, and he's already about a week and change into it. So shout out to Mark Real at Real Father's Rights. Real Father's Rights is REEL, realfathersrights.com/710. I'll just say it like this, guys. If you're going through a divorce or you've already gone through a divorce and you've got all kinds of stuff, a mess to clean up in the aftermath, you need a team behind you that understands the family court system and understands that it more often than not, it leans towards the lady's side rather than the guy's side. So that's why there's Real Father's Rights to help you, the guys, get the justice and the happiness you deserve. So look, it's the start of a new year. You ready to make that call? 323-870-1611. 323-870-1611. Let's get real with Real Father's Rights, the Father's Rights Attorneys.
The most followed sports radio station in America.
710 ESPN.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Nosferatu has been hailed as a modern masterpiece.
Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It transcends the genre and takes your breath away.
Does evil come from within us or from beyond?
Director Robert Eggers' superbly crafted cinematic achievement is a perfect film in every way.
There is a storm rising.
It's the best picture of the year. Nosferatu, rated R, under 17 animated without parent. Special engagements in Dolby and IMAX, now playing only in theaters.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. after Greening.
I don't think I've told you. I used to be in a bowling league.
You can bowl too.
I a little bit. Okay. I'm not a good bowler, but I'm not a terrible bowler.
You're like 9 feet tall. Though.
Yeah.
How do you get down there?
I was okay. I was in the bowling league when I was in my 20s, so this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I have my own ball. Okay?
Nice.
Okay. And I'm okay, or at least I used to be okay. We go bowling. It's me and my 3 children, my wife, and Bobby's girlfriend, Sarah. Okay? So there's 6 of us. And we got the 3 women on one lane, and we got the 3 boys on the second lane. We're right next to each other. So they're competing, we're competing. Bobby won 2 of the 3 in the men's division.
He beat you.
And Michael won the other one.
You got smoked?
I got skunked, DeMarco.
Well done, Dad.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
And it is Sedano and Cap, your Monday afternoon radio Tinder time. Filling in for producer Lindsay. It's Funchy. We like to play a TV theme. Of course, here's the theme song from Who's the Boss? Our friend Tony Danza started that one, but
Angela!
Danny Pintaro turns 49.
Oh, the kid.
And as Funches wrote on the rundown, the kid from Who's the Boss?
That's what I said.
Radio Tinder time. Take it away, Funchy.
Is he looking for somebody? Tony Danza? Oh, he's looking for Clapper?
Tony Danza's looking for
Forget
Clapper?
it. Put him on the line with us. Forget about Clapper.
Oh.
Hey, Tony.
Whoa, stop that, guys.
Tony.
Yeah, that's me.
Remember that moment?
Oh, I do. Yes.
I remember it quite well.
Yeah.
Looking for Clapper, got Sedano and Cap.
I didn't even realize he had cursed. Thank God Chris did. I'm usually pretty good at that.
He cursed at us.
These mother
got
bleepers.
Got cursed out by Tony Danza. Wow. That's something you can say to somebody later on in life. You guys, let's start this.
That's
radio
one of those
Tinder.
things. You know how, like, when somebody dies and you had a picture with that person,
Yeah.
you post the picture. Oh, rest in peace. And here's a picture.
No,
of me
we'll
with them.
post that audio.
Right. When Tony Danza dies, we'll be like, hey, I didn't really know Tony Danza, but he once cursed me out. Take a listen to this.
Yeah. I should have. You know when he came on, I should have said, Angela.
All right, guys, you know who Dax Shepard is, Sedano?
Yeah, he's the Frozen lady's husband.
Yes.
Yeah,
Actor, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
The lady who's frozen?
The lady who does the voice
Christian
of
Bell.
Christian Bell, the blonde lady. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you've seen this couple
Her
before.
husband.
Yes.
Yeah. They do commercials together.
Yes.
But she's a frozen person, or you mean like
She's
she
the
was in
lady that plays the voice in the movie Frozen.
Let it go. Let
Oh,
it
that's
go.
her?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
got it,
Yes.
got it,
Yes. So
amongst other things, she's been an actress for a
She's
long
the
time.
frozen woman.
So along with Hollywood, they were busy last night, going to Golden Globes and whatever. But that didn't stop Dax Shepard, who is a diehard Lions fan, from watching the game at the Golden Globes on his phone the whole time while the Golden Globes are going on. He's watching at a table, and he's not even paying attention to what's going on in the Golden Globes. He's just watching the game.
Headphones in or just the game?
I think no headphones, just him watching it.
Got it.
So I guess the question here, guys, is there was a live broadcast, sports or non-sports, that you couldn't miss, and you were finding all kinds of way to watch it because you weren't at home. Swipe right for yes, swipe left for no, Sedano.
Ooh, a big old sigh. First one of 2025.
That I couldn't. I mean, I don't know.
Like it was not. You couldn't miss it at all.
I'm usually at home for those, though, is what I would say. It's very. I can't think of one that I'm like, oh, I can't miss it. That I wasn't in front of a TV for, even if I was on a plane.
Well, like back in the day. How about back in the day before those type of things?
No, again, if I wanted to be in front of a game, I was going to be in front of the game in some way, shape, or form. I've even booked flights that I knew the planes had TV on to be able to watch certain games.
I'm going to swipe right here and say I don't have a problem with this guy, Dak Prescott, who's married to the Frozen lady.
Dak Shepard.
Dak Shepard. Okay, him. Listen, yesterday afternoon, okay, I say to my girlfriend, I go, listen, babe, I got to be home for this Detroit-Minnesota game. It's the most important game of the day.
Cold like Minnesota.
I believe it's going to be like the most entertaining game of the day.
Except it was terrible.
And I really want to be home in front of my television watching this game.
Okay, and she said?
Well, it's about 4:15 p.m.
Right, so you got an hour.
The sun is setting, and she and I are out on our second walk of the day. Okay, I was walking her. And as we were getting ready to head up the hill to my house,
You make her sound like Jack the Frenchie.
well, I mean, we had 2 walks yesterday.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
double walk.
We had an 8-mile day, 2 days back to back, 8 miles. I'm
lot
pretty
of
proud
walking.
of that. Yeah. So I'm getting ready to walk up the hill, and she goes, "But the sun is going to set in like 30 minutes, and one of my favorite restaurants is right here. Can't you go up the hill and deal with your kids, and I'll sit here and I'll have a drink?" I said, "You do that. You sit there and have a drink. I will go up to my house and deal with my kids," because my daughter was leaving to go back to Cal Poly. Well, lo and behold, it's like 4:51, and the sun is going to set at 4:57. And she's like, "Get down here." I'm like, "I'm coming." I got there at like 4:56 to
Right.
see the sun set.
Right, did it set?
It did. It was beautiful.
It was nice.
And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I watched the entire first half of last night's game on my phone at this restaurant. So I wanted to be home in front of my TV, and just like Dak Shepard, he didn't want to beat the Golden Globes, but if he had to beat the Golden Globes, he was going to keep his eye on that game. That is respect.
So is the phone on your table while you're watching it?
100%. In fact, the salt and pepper shakers were holding it up.
They don't have a TV over around?
I was watching it on my phone.
Okay.
And you know what? My son and my daughter both came with us. I was watching on my phone. My son was watching on his phone. I'm not missing out on stuff like that.
Jeez,
I'm multitasking.
Sunday night game. That's it,
Yeah.
man. All right. DeAndre got the next one.
All righty, guys. So we know that the New York Jets have been in search for a head coach, and Rex Ryan recently interviewed for that head coaching gig. He was on ESPN New York this morning, and I want to play a sound clip for that.
You think you're going to get this job, right? You think you're going to be the next head coach of the Jets?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, I do. And the reason I think I'm going to get it is because I'm the best guy. And it ain't close. The thing that you have to do, you have to connect with a football team. You have to connect with your fan base. And the way they play, that's the most important thing. Not just the X's and O's and all that. Look, this Ben Johnson, I love him. I absolutely love him. But I'm a better candidate for this job than he would be.
So my question is Rex Ryan out of his mind for being too confident in pursuing this Jets coaching gig?
No, that's him. That's who he is. He's always been this way. His dad was that way in a lot of ways. Although Rex is I would say more of an extrovert even than his father was in a lot of ways. I don't know if he's the best candidate, to be honest with you, but he does have familiarity with the organization. Their last real run was with him. But it's not like you're bringing back Joe Gibbs when Washington did it, who had won 3 Super Bowls. Like, yeah, I mean, what it really says is how terrible the Jets organization is that, and I'm not trying to be mean to Rex, I'm just saying that that's the most success you've had. I think Rex is a real candidate. I don't think he's the best candidate.
Well, for him, he says, I'm the best candidate for this job because of the way I would coach and the style of play and my connection to the fan base. If those are your 2 big things that you're walking into the interview with, hey, look, my style of play and this crowd and my familiarity, that's what makes me the best coach. I don't think those are really compelling points to make, to be honest. And I think that Rex Ryan, who's a very good television analyst because of what you said. He's he's experienced, he's extroverted, etc. He's a good personality. He's utilizing the ESPN platform to try and get back what he wants, which is another shot. Listen, even Louis Riddick was being interviewed for the Jets
for the
general
GM
manager
job.
job. Rex Ryan, there were 2 years, I want to say, back-to-back years, and I want to say it was Mark Sanchez's
08-09.
season
Yeah, they went to
where they went to the AFC Championship both years.
9 and 10, maybe. Yeah.
The Steelers.
Yeah, and I remember calling one of those games. The Chargers were hosting the Jets, and I remember Marv Albert. This is unbelievable. Marv Albert.
Oh, man.
Marv Albert and I met before the game because he was going to be doing the play-by-play, and he said something like, "Okay, Kaplan, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about during this game?" And I told him, like, I had all my notes, and Marv started writing down notes on a napkin of things that he was going to, like that he knew that I was going to say. He probably had to write my name on the napkin too. Like, let's
throw it down to Scott Kaplan.
Right, let's go down to this guy who I don't know who the hell this is. Yes. And I remember saying to him at the beginning of the game, this game's coming down to the last second, and this kid named Nate Kading had missed like 3 field goals in that game, and the Chargers lost, and Sanchez and the Jets won. And I think I want to say the Jets may have beaten the Chargers twice, back-to-back seasons in the postseason.
They might have.
Why would Rex Ryan want to go back? They fired him, though.
Yeah,
why?
Because he's got unfinished business, and because but coaches all have these egos, and he's been out of coaching now for
a long time.
Yeah, a really long
at least 10
time.
years.
Yeah. But listen, he wants to show off those pearly
Would you guys
whites,
go
man.
back to a place after they fired you 10 years ago?
Honestly, if they're going to hire a defensive coach that's not Mike Vrabel, because the assumption is that he's going to go to New England, they should hire Brian Flores.
Brian Flores should be like one of the hottest guys going. I mean, you talk about rehabbing your name and your reputation.
He sued the league.
Right. And now.
And is going to probably get another head coaching job.
And
that's how good he is.
And has proven that he's worth it. That's right. I don't think Rex Ryan, good TV personality, had a nice career as an NFL head coach, had a really good career as an NFL assistant coach, but I don't really think he's the best guy for this job.
I would agree. All right, what's next? Oh, we're done, actually. We're way past the break, bro. Oh. Yeah. All right. That'll do it. All right, coming up next, Cappy.
Yeah, you're mad at J.J. Redick.
I'm not mad.
You're pissed off at him.
I disagree.
No.
I was like, really?
Come on.
When I watched the post game, I was like, really? Yeah? That? Really? Come on. All right, we'll get to that next.
All right, hey, let me talk to everybody about Seller's Advantage here. Look, we're at the beginning of the new year, right? And a lot of things in our lives are about to change. Like with a new president coming in and a new administration coming in, what does that mean to interest rates? What does it mean to home prices? I don't know. I'm not an expert, but you know who is? The guys at Seller's Advantage, okay? They know that right now in January, it's like a time where if you're a buyer, you may be in a really good spot. Because you may buy now, and then all of a sudden rates may drop, and you may refinance while the prices of your home are going up. I'm no real estate expert, but I like to follow this stuff. The people at Seller's Advantage, they are the experts. And here's what they'll do for you. They're going to make selling your home really, really easy. You don't have to put a for sale sign out there. You don't have to, get the carpets cleaned. You don't have to paint the walls. You don't have to stage the house. They buy your house with a competitive cash offer. No complicated closing process, no contracts falling through, a competitive cash offer with no repairs needed. Seller's Advantage has been making sellers happy for decades. There are 1 million reviews to prove it. So call them today and get that no obligation offer, 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-AS-IS, 888-390-2747, or visit them online at sellersadvantage.com.
I'm Doug Hopkins.
And I'm Damon Lyons.
And we want to buy your house.
With over 30 years in the business and more than 20,000 real estate transactions, Seller's Advantage offers a much better buying experience.
We don't charge agent fees, you pay no commissions, and you make no repairs. Seller's Advantage will show you a no-obligation, as-is cash offer and can close in just a few days.
Just check out our Google reviews and see for yourself.
Call Seller's Advantage today or visit sellersadvantage.com.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
LeBron's got it. Full head of steam. LeBron to AD. Slam dunk.
Catch every thrill from AD and the Lake Show this season.
Right here on the ESPN LA Lakers Radio Network.
Hey,
it's Mace. There's more fun watching the NBA playing Sleeper Picks. Download the Sleeper app today. Pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats, points, rebounds, assists, and more. If you're right, you can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, new users just have to play $5 and they get $55 in free entries. Download the Sleeper app. Use code 710. That's code 710.
Must be 18 years old. Promo code location and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
You never expect a Hail Mary pass to win and end the game or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Trav with DeMarco.
Only one all-star defense team you can call to defend you. The personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Don't get sacked by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000.
Let Joseph and his team score a touchdown for you.
Timeout. Your body goals don't have an off season. GNC is ready to help you get a stronger start on the new year with help building more muscle and proven weight loss support. Need a boost? We're ready with GNC vitamins for your longest winter days. Want the best energy drinks? They're at GNC. Never tried creatine before? Get ready to be amazed. GNC coaches are ready to help you in stores everywhere, and you can shop our full collection of flavors and online exclusives at GNC.com. GNC, live well.
This college football moment is brought to you by Serve Pro.
College football teams have moments they recover from and made it like it never even happened. Like when Ohio State came back from a 21-6 deficit against number 1 ranked Alabama in the 2015 Sugar Bowl. Down 15 points, the Buckeyes outscored the top-rated Crimson Tide 36-14 to secure the 42-35 victory in the college football playoff semifinal.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
And it is Sedano and Cap here Monday afternoon. Welcome to the new year, by the way. Our first Monday of the new year. Today is National Bean Day. National Bean Day. And on this day, in 1987, Jody Watley, I'm Looking for a New Love, was released. Sedano and Cap continues your Monday afternoon right now.
I know it's just the first day, but the expectation is that, we'd all be on our game. I think Cappy and I have been on our game. DeAndre and Funch have been on our game today.
But
this rejoin already played in the 3 o'clock hour.
It did?
Yep.
Really?
It's our girl Jody Watley.
Damn.
I mean, I know Chris has a lot on his plate, but I'm just saying, like, he would destroy us if that happened on our end.
Well, double shout out to Jody. What's up, girl?
Yeah.
Happy New Year, girl.
We're just trying to keep it 100 around here.
You know, I'd like to get Jody Watley to go to a Laker game with me one day.
Okay, I'm sure you would. Now,
Hey, Jody,
is that the same game you'd want Megan Thee Stallion to be at?
Megan Thee Stallion, I'm going to meet up with her at some point.
Yeah.
But Jody, hey girl, if you're not busy on Thursday night,
The suite, yeah.
we're going to go to the Laker game on Thursday night.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little dinner here at LA Live.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go over to the game. It's a 7:30 game on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, Jody, if you're available.
Speaking of the Laker game, Cappy, so I'm watching the end of that game yesterday. And close game, last 5 minutes. Lakers were down 22. They come back to make it a game. And it basically boiled down to just the Lakers were within a bucket. And Max Christie inbounds the ball. LeBron realizes time is running out on the 5-second violation. And there's no real good entry pass. So he's jumping up in the air to call timeout over Fred VanVleet. And as that's happening, Max Christie throws the ball to LeBron, and Fred VanVleet intercepts it, and that kind of, for the most part, sealed the game.
I actually didn't see the foul on LeBron because they called LeBron on a foul.
They
on
called
that
LeBron
play.
a foul over the back on Fred
I
VanVleet.
didn't
Because he
really see that.
basically, when VanVleet intercepted, LeBron was coming down, so he landed on him. Basically, it's a foul.
Just let me ask you a quick timeout here. So are you blaming Max Christie for inbounding the
No,
ball?
the timing of it was so close. I mean, look, if you're him, you also have to have the mental, like as the inbounder, DeAndre, you have to have the mental clock of 5 seconds.
Yeah, I got you, but he's also a very young kid.
Okay, but he's played basketball.
I understand.
Like that's not like a rule that just happens in the NBA. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is this: is that you put the ball in his hands to inbound the ball, because if he were on the floor, he's probably not. He's not a top consideration for a shot at that point of the game.
Yeah.
LeBron's got to have the ball. AD's got to have the ball. And so when you're giving him the ball, you're saying it starts with you.
Right.
And I felt like LeBron's jumping up and down, timeout. What did LeBron think? Like, do all the referees on the floor, do all three refs go, hey, I'm not watching anything. I'm only looking at LeBron because LeBron might want a timeout. I mean, whose responsibility is it to see that somebody called a timeout?
Well, one of the three, in theory, should see it, but it was so close to when he inbounded the ball. I mean, we're talking about, even in slow motion, it looked fairly close. But if you're Max Christie, he's doing it from the minute he's coming around on that curl. And he's, like, jumping up, like, timeout. Like, there was at least one or two that you're kind of, and I know you're kind of, like, thinking about throwing it, but you have to have that internal clock yourself. It shouldn't be on LeBron to be the guy trying to call timeout at the last second.
Well, where was JJ to call timeout?
On the sideline, but I'm guessing the referee was not near him.
Mm-hmm.
So
that players call a timeout in that situation.
I'm just saying,
but it's really on the player to do it.
Okay.
It's really on the player more than anything else, especially the inbounder. Because the referee, there is always going to be one official next to the inbounder doing that. Exactly. Counting the 5 seconds, doing what DeAndre's doing if you're watching on YouTube right now. So, yeah, exactly. You got it, Cappy?
I got it.
That's right.
Take a look at this right here.
Look at that.
Cappy's
ready. He's ready to do some inbounding.
Click all 5 of these things.
So
think about if a referee only had 4 fingers. He lost one in an accident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He only gets the 4.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
Like Chubbs from Billy Madison?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Or Happy Gilmore. Sorry, wrong movie. Isn't there a second movie coming out?
Yes. Taylor dropped the what do you call it, trailer on Christmas or New Year's.
Yeah, it was on the NFL game on Netflix.
Oh, that's what it was. So anyway, that is partial on Max Christie, but that's not my issue.
Okay, what's the issue?
So then the next time down the floor, LeBron hits this 3, but there's a foul on the floor.
Right.
And immediately I'm like, I'm looking at the screen, I'm like, oh, that's an offensive foul on AD.
Mm-hmm.
And because AD gets tied up with Holiday, the youngest Holiday, Aaron, right. And he gets tied up with Aaron Holiday, and he extends his arms.
Right, you say tied up. I mean, didn't he really fully?
Well, they were tied up at the beginning because they got caught off the screen, and then AD extends his arms on a smaller player, and then he goes down like a sack of potatoes. And, of course, they're going to call an offensive foul on Anthony Davis there. And JJ is irate. Like, he is giving it to the official in that scenario. AD is giving it to the official. And, I get it. You got to take up for your best player there. But then I felt like, he did it again in the postgame, and I was like, I didn't feel like.
What did he call it? JJ called it.
Here, we'll let you hear what he said about the AD offensive foul.
There's not a discussion there. I think a lot of times they're the closest guys generally looking at the inbounder. And I'm not sure what happened on the second play because we just watched it and Holiday flopped. So I'm not sure why that was rewarded. Yeah, I don't know why that was rewarded. That was egregious.
I mean, listen, he's not wrong. Holiday might have flopped, but that's a subjective call. You know what's not subjective is what I would say to Coach Redick respectfully, when your player extends his arms trying to get through a screen.
Yeah, I mean, to me, listen, I watched the play before I ever heard what J.J. Redick had to say, and it doesn't take a basketball expert to look at that play and go,
clearly, yes.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to play high school ball. You don't got to play at the JC level. You don't got to play in a men's league against a former NBA player who got a big old bag in the bank.
Yarmulkes or no yarmulkes?
Right, none. Listen, let me tell you something right now. J.J. Redick, you may be a basketball man. You may be a basketball savant. You may have had an NBA career. Brother, that's a foul.
Yeah.
That is a foul.
You extend the arms on a screen every time. 10 out of 10 times, DeAndre, that's getting called.
It's a legal screen, yeah. And the worst part is it's not like he was standing still and extending.
He's moving.
He was moving with
it.
It
was
as
like,
well.
honestly, it was like an offensive lineman
Right.
drill.
I thought he was
That's what it looked like.
penalty. It was like a holding penalty.
Right.
You
It
know?
was an offensive lineman drill. Like,
Right.
like when you're doing the sleds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's what it looked
And
like.
then this arrogant, like, it's egregious. I know what the fouls are, and he doesn't know what the fouls are. Like, that actually annoys me, which is why I did enjoy a lot of the Charles Barkley and then the J.J. Redick.
Well, let's do that on the other side.
Yeah, but
let's
I did
do that on the
enjoy
other side.
that.
Because Kirk Morrison is going to join us at 5:15. We can get into some of that. Respectfully, I would disagree with Coach Redick. That is not egregious. That is an easy call 10 out of 10 times. Okay? So, and you know what? If he's listening, we can have a conversation about it when I do the Heat-Lakers game in a week or so.
And just by the way, I guess we should probably at least mention, the Lakers, especially over the course of the last 2.5 weeks or so, they played good ball.
They have played good ball.
And I don't know what the exact number was. I want to say they won 10 of.
But Houston kind of owns them right now.
Well, listen, that's because Houston's young and physical, and the Lakers are old.
They're
and
the
not
second
physical.
best defense in the sport.
How about that?
Yeah. But yeah, I think JJ's done a great job, all things considered, because this is not a good roster, is what I would say. Now it's better with Dorian Finney-Smith because they got a guy who can play 3 and D. I think they've added someone who I think fits more what they want to do and the style he wants to play. So I think they've done a good job. But come on, egregious?
Yeah, not egregious.
Listen, that was not an egregious call.
That's a holding penalty.
10 out of 10 times that is called.
That's a personal foul, is what that is.
10 out of 10. So I would disagree. All right, coming up next, we'll get into the Barkley thing a little bit. Okay. And then we'll talk some football with Kirk Morrison, who will join us for Morrison Mondays at 5:15. So we got all that coming up. Stick around, 710 ESPN.
It's the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Every weekday morning at 9 a.m.
I got pretty fat over the break.
You got fat?
Yeah.
What do you mean you got fat over the break?
Fatter.
What do you mean?
I do my weigh-ins.
You gained weight over the break.
It's the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
What was the biggest culprit?
Yeah. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alcohol.
That happens.
It's Trav and D-Far.
Back tomorrow morning after Greeny on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Join us this Friday for the first 710 event of 2025. It's going down at the Islands in Manhattan Beach for an all-day live broadcast and Wild Card Football Friday party. Starts at 9 a.m. with Travis and DeMarco, Mason and Ireland at noon, and Sedano and Cap at 3. All doing their shows live and in person with huge giveaways. Islands in Manhattan Beach, 3200 North Sepulveda Boulevard. We'll see you Friday.
Nosferatu has been hailed as a modern masterpiece.
Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It transcends the genre and takes your breath away.
Does evil come from within us or from beyond?
Director Robert Eggers' superbly crafted cinematic achievement is a perfect film in every way.
There is a storm rising.
It's the best picture of the year. Nosferatu, rated R, under 17 nanometer without parent. Special engagements in Dolby and IMAX, now playing only in theaters.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News and World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. It's 5 p.m. in the Southland. Turn it up, man. Time to blow that 5 o'clock whistle with Sedano and Cappy.
That's right, it's the 5 o'clock hour on Sedano and Cap. And it's time for 30 minutes non-stop.
Sedano and Cap on 710 ESPN.
With fun and frivolity, tomfoolery and hijinks, and Cappy doing his thing, thanks to our friends at Real Father's Rights. Real Father's Rights, the father's rights attorney. Visit realfathersrights.com or call 951-482-7517. Let's do it, 5 o'clock in the Southland.
30 minutes of non-stop Sedano and Cap starts now.
You ready for this? And time for the Real Father's Rights 5 o'clock hour on 710 ESPN. Let's do it, Jack.
Beep-ba-da-boop.
Yeah.
Boom-ba-da-bop. Boom, ba-da-bop. Do-da-da-bop. Cappy, it's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Rams will play on Wild Card Monday, a week from today, Cappy, against the Vikings from SoFi. And we're talking about it today. We will continue to talk about it. Kirk Morrison will join us in 13 minutes, and we'll talk some football with him, including that, here on your home for Rams football, 710 ESPN.
Should I go to the game on Monday night? Rams and Vikings?
Not me, bro.
No, I know. I don't really like. For me,
going to a football game is for me. Like I go to enough sporting events that I'm like, if I'm not working it, like I'd much rather watch it from home.
Same. Although this year I did go to, I think, 3 or 4 different NFL games where I actually sat in the stands and watched the game and had like the greatest time.
Yeah.
But I think the Rams and the Vikings, that's a Monday night game. I personally would prefer to watch it on TV.
I'd much rather watch. I mean, Buck and Aikman doing a playoff game, like I'm in on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not just for me. It's not just the broadcast. It's like all the different angles and all the analysis.
Oh, no, of course,
yeah.
And it's the last one of the week.
I love watching the game on TV. So I know there was a part of me that was like, maybe I should go to this game, and then there's another bigger part of me that goes, sit on your couch and watch the TV.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in on that. All right, you wanted to talk about Barkley versus JJ.
Well, all I'm saying is this, okay? When the Barkley thing came out, and we all started to hear about it, we weren't on the air the next day.
I sent it to you.
I remember.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're Barkley, you have this perception, and by the way, I'm putting words in Charles Barkley's mouth, just to be clear. I almost feel like Charles Barkley, with his playing career and his broadcasting career and Charles's ability to say anything about anyone and get away with it no problem, I feel like Charles probably looks at JJ and thinks, you've got that smug, arrogant, dookie sort of thing where you're smarter than everybody else. That's like when we were talking about this egregious. Anthony Davis fouled, period. Okay? It doesn't take somebody reffing the game 20 years to look at that and go, that appears to be a foul. But JJ is like, no, that's egregious. And he flopped, and I'm smarter than you. So when Barkley said what he said, I found it entertaining, not because I wanted to defend JJ, just because when you're part of the Lakers, you're part of the drama, and that to me is what was entertaining about what Barkley said, and then JJ kind of firing back. So how did you feel about it? Did you think it was? Did you like it? Were you entertained by it? I was entertained.
Here's what I would say. I don't think JJ is wrong, per se. Now, I will say this. I love Charles Barkley. You know that. I love Charles. I love Shaq. I love Kenny. I love Ernie. They are the show of record when it comes to the NBA. However, I do feel like two things can be true at once. Okay?
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a new phrase I've got for the
that's
new
nice.
year.
Good new phrase for the new year.
Yeah. They are incredibly entertaining, right? Undoubtedly.
Mm-hmm.
They are the best studio show in the history of sports, correct?
I don't know.
I mean, really?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. They are.
I'm a big fan of that Fox baseball show with Big Papi and
They're
Derek
good
Jeter.
too.
I like those guys.
They're good too. But they have been the show of record in the NBA forever.
Fair point.
So, and they're hilarious, particularly in the postgame. That's what they pay those guys for. It's not the pregame. It's not the halftime. It's the 35, 45 minutes they do after that last game where they are punch drunk and making everybody howl with laughter, okay? And in those 45 minutes, they'll have some hot takes. And what I will say to you is this, and I would say this to Charles respectfully too. It feels like while you do acknowledge the greatness of this generation's players, you have also diminished them in a way that I felt like was not done to the Jordan Barkley era of guys. We took those guys, and granted, we had much less access back then and much less programming, to be honest with you. There was, NBC had a doubleheader on Saturday or Sundays or whatever it was, and you watched Bob Costas in the studio with Peter Vesey, and Marv would do one game, and Tom Hammond would do the other game with Bill Walton and Snapper Jones, and the Czar and Marv would do the other game. So
great memories, by the way. Just going through all the broadcasters, Snapper, the Czar.
I love those.
Yeah,
guys.
those are great.
Those were great guys. So it was a little different. I get that. Okay, but Peter Vesey was drilling people in that halftime or whatever, that he would do his reports or whatever. So that's not new. But what I would say is they generally did a good job of mythologizing, I guess.
What does that mean?
Making these guys
making a myth
bigger,
mythologizing.
Yes,
that's a hell of a word.
Making them bigger than even what they were, like bigger stars than they even were, because we talked about their greatness all the time. Okay, like Michael Jordan, we talked about his greatness all the time. I mean, the one time we did it so much that when Michael Jordan came back from playing like a night in Atlantic City before he played the Knicks in the playoffs. The man arrived to do an interview with Ahmad Rashad in freaking sunglasses. Right. Okay? And we just sat there and ate it all up. Instead of like in today, people would have been like, yo, you just put Mike on the air, clearly still banged up from the night before.
Hungover.
When he was out gambling till God knows when. Like, that would have never happened in today's day and age.
But you had Ahmad. Ahmad was his go-to guy. He was his spokesperson.
But my point is, we didn't even then, we didn't destroy, like, what, that, today, that would have been, Michael Jordan would have been destroyed, okay? But back then, we were like, yo, Mike's crazy, dog. You know what I mean? And Ahmad's the man, because he got him. Whereas, I feel Charles, Kenny less so, even Shaq too, to some extent. Those guys really have torn down, in some cases, some of the best players, right? Like, and look, they're paid for their opinions, Cappy, okay?
But like what? Like, give me an example, because like I know that.
Well, Charles spent a lot of time when the Warriors were running roughshod on people, basically starting from the beginning, saying jump shot shooting teams aren't going to win a championships, and they would say some variation of if Steph Curry played in our day, he wouldn't get those shots off, and even LeBron, right? Like, oh, LeBron had to switch teams and this, that, and the other when he left Cleveland to go to Miami. And it was just like they were always crapping on those guys, right? And you're talking about two of the greatest players in the history of the game.
But why do you think it's crapping on versus like ridiculing? Like, I think a lot of people thought the same thing about LeBron when he left and went to Miami.
I understand, Cappy, but it's coming from a guy who fled Philadelphia to go to Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Like, the irony of that.
He also fled Phoenix, too.
Well, right, to go to Houston. So, like, the irony of that, and I've said that to Charles before, I'm like, Charles, and his always retort to me when I've had those conversations with him on the air or off the air, he's like, well, I was old when I went to Houston. I mean, what?
I buy that.
You weren't old when you went to Phoenix, though. And he's like, well, I had nobody to play with in Philly. Who did LeBron have to play with? Mo Williams? Like,
hey, don't down on Mo Williams.
That was his best player. He took that guy to a finals. He dragged Larry Hughes to a finals.
Anderson Varejao.
Right. So it's like, what are we talking about here? So, and by the way, Michael Jordan left the game for 18 months. Okay, mysteriously went to go play minor league baseball. We mythologize that too. Okay? So, like, my point is, we have nitpicked on the greatness of both Steph Curry and LeBron. And they're not alone, Charles and those guys. It's a lot of the NBA media, but they're the loudest voices because they have the largest platform.
But what are you
saying?
saying?
When JJ says that...
Says what?
That there have been the game should be celebrated more. And that we have, every time you turn on the TV, if they're telling you the product stinks, then you're going to believe it. And he's not wrong. JJ's not wrong about that, is what I would say.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think that people turn off Charles and Shaq and the post-game show because they're like, if these guys think the product sucks, I'm going to leave now,
Cappy,
too.
it's not about the post-game show. They don't watch the games because they're telling you the product sucks.
So you're saying that the fans listen to
the
these guys.
The casual fans do.
Listen to these guys.
Cappy, you don't have you have friends like I do that are like not the biggest sports fan in the world, but they'll be like, if like Charles Barkley says it, like, well, if Charles Barkley says it, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I guess.
We live in a world where, especially now, it's crazy. Like, we live in a world where people don't have independent thought very often, right? Like, they love to herd like the goats. You know what I mean?
Well, let me do this. Let's just backtrack here for just a second. For anybody that may have missed this, okay?
So, do we have what JJ said or no?
But can we set it up?
What he said about Barkley from the beginning?
We have what Barkley said, and then we have.
Okay, we have what Barkley said. So
do the
JJ said that we should celebrate the game more, and every time, the reason, part of the ratings problem is that every time you turn on the TV, you have people who are in prominent positions, and he's like, and I can attest to this because I've been in those national seats before, that aren't celebrating the game. They're telling you the product stinks. So then Charles, who says he's never hears anything online, but now he's very online because he's on Instagram all the time now. And he had this retort the other night.
Was he just talking about folks on
What did
TV?
he say? He said something about we're the reason people ain't watching this crappy product we got. That's JJ. Yeah, us. Like, we out there jacking up 100 threes a night. JJ, I don't know Jason Monroe. I don't know who that is, but JJ, you come for the king, you better not miss. Because I can get you, brother, because I got your Lakers games. You can't hide them flaws they got. You just a dead man walking. They got rid of Frank Vogel, who did a good job. They got rid of Darvingham, who did a good job. But you came out there thinking you were going to change things with that same ugly girl you went on the date with.
64-51 was your halftime score. As we get back to the highlights, and Rudy Gobert.
No, he came in there thinking, I can make this thing work. Hell, you can.
77, 71.
Put the makeup on that pig.
By the way, incredibly entertaining.
Yes.
I'm not debating that part of it, okay?
Funny.
But it doesn't take a... So here's what I would say to Charles.
Mm-hmm.
If Charles were on the phone right now, I would say, Charles, you're not the sole reason that people aren't watching the game, but you telling people at every turn the game stinks, which he did right there. He basically proved JJ's point, okay? Like, that doesn't help. When you watch the NFL, okay, are you watching? How many times do you watch a broadcast on the NFL where they're completely crapping on the game? Like, not an individual player's performance, just the game. Never. It never happens.
Yeah, and listen, but here's what I would say about that is that if somebody went on the air, let me put it this way, if Troy Aikman went on Monday Night Football on ESPN and he said what Charles Barkley just said. You know what? The NFL is no good. The product is bad. This is why people aren't watching. If he said that on ESPN, the commissioner of the NFL would be on the phone with the CEO of ESPN, and he would be like, yo, we're your partners. We pay you a fortune. You better tell Troy Aikman to start telling everybody how awesome our product is. Why is it that a guy like Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, isn't enforcing, if you will?
I don't know.
Where he says to Charles Barkley, or he says to the powers that be at Turner, hey, we're your partners. We pay you guys a lot of money to make us look good, and you're making us look like a bunch of jerks. You know, and now maybe Turner might go, well, we're not really in business going forward, so we might as well say what we want to say.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree with that. Maybe that was something that, that could have been done, should have been done. The tooth is out of the toothpaste, because this is not like an isolated incident. This is a decades-long worth thing or longer.
Charles always knocks the players and the product.
And by the way, Shaq, for years, killing Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, this isn't like a random occurrence. This happens a lot.
So he takes all his shots at J.J. Redick, and then J.J., there's a press conference.
So again, just real quick, Charles Barkley and Shaq and that show is the greatest thing to ever happen to the NBA. However, because they have the largest platform, they do influence people, although they're not the sole reason that the games have lost some relevance. So I do think that there's nuance to this. But go ahead. So JJ responds.
Yeah, so what JJ's response was at a press conference after a Laker game. I don't remember
Somebody
who they
asked
were playing.
him. Yeah.
And, hey, did you hear Charles's whatever he said? And here's what JJ said. Let's play it.
Yeah, I got a random text from somebody after the game. I look at my phone and it says something about Charles Barkley and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, huh? But Greg and Bo showed me. I didn't make it all the way through the clip. I got to be honest with you. My resting heart rate is probably 64. I watched the clip. It was 64. Literally don't care. I have other thoughts, but don't care.
Hey, listen, I'm glad that we all, if it were me and I were at that press conference, I'd be like, yo, can I check your pulse? Because I just want to know if it's at a 64 or not. I'm going to put a couple fingers here on your wrist, and I'll time it out. You know, I want to see if it's really at a 64. His point was that it didn't raise his blood pressure. He wasn't angry about it, okay? I don't know that everybody sitting there in that press conference was like, oh, really? I'm looking at my resting heart rate right now, as a matter of fact, too, on my iWatch, and I'm knowing what mine is. It's just that, like, to me, I think that there are a lot of reasons why people may have been turned off by the NBA. I personally don't find that, oh, by the way, at least nowadays in particular. I find that more people, I think, watch the NBA, engage with the NBA.
By the way, Christmas Day, was amazing. They had great numbers, even against the NFL.
Right, are the ratings down so much so?
So here's what happened, okay? Turner's numbers were flat year over year. ESPN's numbers were down nearly 30%. Now, I will also say that had more to do with individual matchups that were on the network, where Turner got a bunch of Warriors games, for example. ESPN, let's just say, did not get a bunch of Warriors and Lakers games, okay? They got some other matchups, and in those matchups, there were a lot of injuries to whatever star players, which hurt the product. So they were down nearly 20%. After Christmas Day, where the games averaged like 6 or 7 million per game, all of a sudden, ESPN was up 4% year over year. So all it took was one good day. So it was a lot of hubbubaloo over nothing, to your point. However, it was a real conversation, because what happens is, when you work at this company, okay, everything is magnified. Everything. Things that can happen at other companies in sports can happen and wouldn't get 5% of the coverage they get over any little thing that happens at this company.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think is going to happen when Charles Barkley and this Turner pregame show, postgame show, which as you call is the NBA show of record, what happens when that thing goes to ESPN? You think they say to them, hey, keep doing your thing, bro?
No, it's going to be very much like the Pat McAfee setup. It's their show.
Well, then here's how I look at Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal in particular. You know what they are now? They're like old guys who are bitter towards the current players.
Well, they've been that for a while in some capacity. But they are still fun. Like, don't get me wrong.
Comes from. That's what I'm saying, though. That's where it comes from. It's like, put it this way. If you went and asked an old school Hall of Fame baseball player today who played back in the 70s or 80s what they think of today's modern day baseball player, you know what they are for the most part? Even if they were a Hall of Famer and they were a great player, they're jealous based on the money. Now, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal both made a lot of money as players. But the players today are making $50, $60, $70 million, and they're sitting on the bench because they can't play a certain number of games because they got to load manage. And so to me, these are now old guys that resent the young guys, the current generation of guys. And that's why they're always taking their swipes.
Yeah.
What's funny
Which,
to me,
by the way, JJ wasn't necessarily just singling out just those guys. He says every time you turn on your television, which there are multiple places you can find the NBA, but Barkley took exception to it because, I mean, listen.
I don't hear a lot of people downing on the product other than Barkley. And by the way, I always take it as a grain of salt because I think he's just trying to be funny.
I do think there's some of that, too. And I also don't think he's the sole reason that's the case. By the way,
you're giving him an awful lot of credit.
Right. I don't think JJ says they're the sole reason, which is why he said people on television. But Barkley took that personally. And again, I love Barkley. I like JJ too, man. But it's like they both can be right to some extent, okay? There are things that can be fixed with the game. I'm not going to tell you the game doesn't need some tweaking, okay? Every sport needs tweaking. Hell, baseball just tweaked over the last couple of years smartly, by the way. The pitch clock, no shift, more stolen bases, all that stuff makes more exciting stuff.
NFL has done the same thing. I mean, NFL just changed the kickoff rule, which, by the way, the NFL never follows anybody.
Right, and they follow the UFL of all places.
They let them, work it out, and then they incorporate
it.
Right.
So what I would say to you is the NBA needs some tweaking. I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but they could use some tweaking. I think there needs to be more paint play, and particularly dunks, attempts at the rim, because that's what gets people off their seats. When somebody yams it on somebody, people go, whoa, and go crazy.
Yep.
Okay? So whether it's at the bar or at the arena, okay?
Or even if you're on the bench where you have to hold your teammates
Correct,
back,
exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. By the way, real quick before we get to Kirk Morrison, and we're late because we were on our soapbox here. Trey G. Basketball clearly is not as entertaining as it was 20 years ago. So predictable and boring. Be honest. At Sedano, at Scott Kaplan. Is it predictable? They've had 6 different champions in the last 6 years. There's not another sport that can say that.
No, but when he says boring, I think a lot of sports
The threes.
fans,
People don't want the threes.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. You need more paint play.
But here's what I always hear from guys.
Kirk Morrison would take you in the paint.
Well, maybe, but as heavy as I am right now, I take that big old booty of mine. I try and back him down. But I do hear people say this. They say, you know what? I don't watch the NBA until the playoffs, or I don't watch the NBA till the finals, or I hear this all the time. I don't watch the NBA because I don't like LeBron. I'm like, wait, you mean to tell me you don't like one guy and therefore you turned off the entire sport? So I understand Barkley's perspective and his attempt at entertainment, and I also understand JJ kind of putting the blame on those guys.
I do think if I was really gonna get on Charles about something, I don't think he's done justice to LeBron and Steph Curry's legacy throughout their time of greatness by diminishing them in multiple different ways over the years, despite acknowledging also their greatness, but then diminishing them at the same time. But anyway, Kirk Morrison, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just listening to you guys, and I think, my 2 cents in the whole thing is that, honestly, I always felt that the NBA has to try to find a way to create some type of urgency in the early part of their season.
Yeah.
Or I've always said, why not push the season a little bit further out past the NFL? The NFL has now changed and is now the king. Why would you want to mess with the king? Push your season out a little bit and take over summer, which I think you can really dominate.
Yeah.
I always said, look, summer, you want to go outside, or would you like to be in an air-conditioned arena and go watch some basketball, some meaningful basketball? Because by then, we're talking about June and July, I think the games would matter a little bit more because there's
Kirk,
just no urgency right now.
I agree with you. I think the tournament, the NBA Cup has done a better job because clearly the guys are playing hard because they want the money. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So, that has helped. But I'm with you. I've actually had these conversations with people at the NBA, like at the league office. And I've said, why not push it back? And they've basically said different forms of variations of it will take another generation of a new turn in regards to commissionership and someone else to be and change in ownerships too, because the owners are old and stodgy for the most part. They don't want to change their ways either, right? So it's not so much that I'm sure Adam would love to make a lot of changes, but he has a 30-panel constituency that he has to deal with on a regular basis.
Anybody remember the game a couple weeks ago that the Lakers played in and they shot, I want to say 43 throws or something like that?
Yes.
And I remember coming on the air the next day going, bro, I didn't sign up for a 4-hour basketball game, and I sure as hell didn't sign up to watch a bunch of guys shoot free throws. I want to see guys hit threes. I want to see guys dunk. I want to see the game go up and down the floor. I don't want to sit here and watch guys shoot free throws. It's not exciting.
Oh, the officiating is a problem, too. And if you remember last year after the horrendous All-Star game they had, all of a sudden, there was a lot more physicality in the second half of the season. They got the word. They picked up the phone and said, hey, let some physicality go. So I think if you had more physicality, more paint play, I would get rid of the corners because the 22-foot three-pointer is – we got 7-footers that can hit that now. You know what I'm saying? So, I would get rid of the break and just have it, extend the free throw line another foot or so, and that way you don't have the corners. It literally ends – at the break. So no matter what, if you're on that sideline or corner, that's a 2-point shot every time. So if you want to take that long two, go ahead. But that will force people to get in the paint, and you can widen the lane a little bit too. I think those are the things that I would do if I were commissioner for a day.
Well, here's Kirk Morrison. Kirk, Happy New Year first and
Happy New
foremost.
Year, yes.
Okay, Happy New
Oh,
Year.
man, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year,
We're
fellas.
on a basketball tangent, but let's talk some football.
How about we talk about the worm turning? I was wrong, Kirk. You know what? You were right. You said I was going to be wrong. I was wrong. The Chargers didn't win 10 games. They won 11 games.
Come on, Kirk. Tell them it's still coming.
Man, look, man, I'm going to give you all the credit, man, on this one, George. You believed. You saw what happened. They played some good football down the stretch. They beat the team that they were supposed to beat, and I'll give them the credit. All that does now is to get them an opportunity as the betting favorites to go into Houston and win against the Texans team that with C.J. Stroud, who has definitely regressed in year number 2. And yet I don't have confidence that they can win this game, George. I just don't. Now, if they win this week, I'm just saying, you know what, Jim Harbaugh, Chargers, the worm has turned. But this is the most important game of their season upcoming this week. Will tell me, has the worm turned, or is it just they had some extra seeds that started to sprout?
See, I actually think, as you point out, that the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites in Houston. I actually believe they can win that game. I believe they will win that game, as much as it pains me to say, because they haven't had what you and I both expected, Kirk. They didn't have the catastrophic injuries to Khalil Mack or to Joey Bosa. Right. They didn't lose Justin Herbert. They lost J.K. Dobbins for a couple of games, but they've done a good job of stocking up on running backs. People say they don't have top-flight wide receivers, and yet I've seen these guys make play after play. So what is usually the problem with this team is catastrophic injuries. That did not happen this year. And then combine that with a real coach, somebody that when he walks in the room, everybody believes in that guy. And it was a soft schedule, to be sure, but they did win enough in the toughest division in the AFC, and now they're going to go play against one of the weakling divisions of the AFC. So I kind of expect them to win this game against Houston.
I don't, and I throw the records out the window. I really do. I just think it's 14-team tournament, 7 teams per conference, and I love the way that this thing is going to really play out. C.J. Stroud is starting his 3rd playoff game on Saturday, fellas. Like, we got to remember that. He learned a lot, I think, last year. Justin Herbert, his second. This is his 2nd playoff game. Maybe he learned from the game against Jacksonville a couple years ago. They came back and, the Jacksonville Jaguars came back and won that game. Maybe he learned something from that. But this is a game in which they got to go on the road, and Houston is going to be loud. They play well in that early game on Saturday. I don't know if the Chargers have the experience to win this playoff on offense. Defense, Bosa, Mack, all those dudes. Look, Derwin James, I give him that. But do you believe in Quentin Johnston? Do you believe in Ladd McConkey? Do you believe in these guys offensively that have never played in this type of environment? That's why I'm leaning on DeMeco Ryans and the Texans. I think that the Texans get it done. And if they don't, hey, more power to the new Los Angeles Chargers.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I hope that Houston gets it done too. I really do. But let me flip it over to you. You know, the Rams yesterday, they had the playoff spot already. Even though Seattle and the Rams had only played one time and the Rams won that game, and even though that Seattle could have won that game, which they did, and then have the similar record, Seattle had no chance of making it into the postseason. Do you think the Rams did the right thing by not playing their frontline guys, resting them, and settling for the 4 rather than the 3, and now having to face Minnesota versus facing, say, Washington?
It's difficult. I can't say what they should have done and what they should not done, Scotty, honestly. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because it's just coaching philosophy. Sean McVay's coaching philosophy has always been this way. He's going to rest his guys. They're going to go out there, and he's going to play, the backup quarterback. They did it last year with Carson Wentz. This year they did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. They try to keep as many guys healthy to give them the best opportunity to play at home next week. They are totally different than what we saw from Dan Campbell and his guys with the Detroit Lions, who played a meaningless football game in San Francisco. They won and brought that momentum over to Week 18, and they beat up on the Minnesota Vikings, which actually helps out the Rams because it was a physical football game. So at the end of the day, it's really about coaching philosophy. I can't say is it a good decision or not. Sean McVay has won, 4 division titles now. He's on the verge of winning another playoff game, hopefully at home. I think it's really about how the results of this game really can say, hey, was it the right decision or the wrong decision about resting the players on Sunday?
Yeah, now my boy Sedano here, kind of offended, frankly.
Listen, Dan Campbell, I'm going to bite his damn kneecaps, okay? Listen,
man.
You go out there and tell Kevin O'Connell, I'll see you in 2 weeks. That's the most disrespectful bleep I've seen in a long time, considering that Sean McVay is the most experienced playoff coach in the NFC, and he's got the only quarterback that's got a Super Bowl ring in that conference.
So if he would have said that about Washington, you would not be offended.
No, because Dan Quinn ain't got that resume.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Because Dan Quinn did coach his team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he ain't got to win.
No, but I'm just asking. You're saying that you're offended on behalf of Sean McVay.
I am.
Okay. And you're going to bite him in the knees.
I will bite him on both his kneecaps.
And headbutt him in the schwanz.
And you know what? I'll kick him in his ankles too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Should Sean McVay, is this what a team needs to be motivated in round 1 of the playoffs at a home playoff game?
No, it's the playoffs. I mean, you already know what the environment's going to be on Monday. I don't think you need any more added motivation to see you in a couple weeks. That's just Dan Campbell being Dan Campbell, right? See you in a couple weeks. That has no bearing on what's going to happen with this game between the Rams and the Vikings. The Rams got to take care of business. That's what they got to do. They got to win a home playoff game, which they haven't done in a couple years, right? We want to see what it looks like. The last home playoff game was against the Arizona Cardinals. Remember a couple years ago, and obviously it led them to the Super Bowl. I'm saying this. The last time the Rams were a 4 seed, what happened, fellas? They won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that juju comes right on back, and the Rams can put themselves back in a conference championship game and get to a Super Bowl. There's a belief. I just feel like, man, this playoff is going to be fun because we have who we think are the favorites because of the Chiefs and then obviously because of Detroit. But Will we be surprised if anybody else besides the 1 seeds are in the Super Bowl? Not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo wins or Baltimore goes into a Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles come out and take care of business with the Rams. That's why I think this is going to be a fun playoff.
Yeah. I'm the Rams road has become much tougher because of what happened, with losing this game yesterday.
Sure.
Because now Minnesota.
But Cappy though. Is it like you want the easy road? Like I feel like
but here's the thing: I'd rather face the Lions than face the Eagles.
Well, and I think the thing about the Lions is they've beaten you twice now. Once last year in the playoffs,
but close games,
all close games, and all in Detroit. So in all likelihood, and this is the way it's going to go. If you beat Minnesota, you're back to Detroit for the third time.
I don't know, man. You sound like Laker fans when they go up against the Nuggets. Like, man, we had to play the Nuggets again, man. We should have just lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. If you're going to win a championship, you got to beat the team that's in front of you. And they may be the better team on paper, but you got to go through them if you have any confidence in yourself. So the Rams got to have confidence that no matter what, they got to go through the Vikings who won 14 games. They got to go through Detroit who's won 15 games. And I think even for the Lakers, if they want to win a championship, they gotta go through through the Denver Nuggets. That's just part of the football, man. In order to beat the beast, you gotta beat them, man. That's what it is. You want to beat a beast? Go beat the beast, right? That's why so many people are talking about the Bengals not making the playoffs because the Chiefs didn't want them to make the playoffs because they were scared. Like, come on, man, get out of here, dude.
Well, I don't know about the Chiefs being scared, but I think a lot of the teams in the AFC, particularly Buffalo, was probably pretty happy to see Denver rather than Cincinnati. You don't agree with that?
And then all of a sudden we're going to see Bo Nix in his first playoff
Which
game.
would be
man.
amazing.
I'm just telling you.
I would love
it's going to be amazing.
I would love to see the upset.
I want to see what it looks like.
I know. I would love to see
Joseph.
the upset.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see what it looks like.
I know. It's going to be an exciting week of football because not only do we have the Final Four of college football on Thursday and Friday, then you got games on Saturday and Sunday. This is going to be, as it usually is, the wild card weekend, the best weekend.
I got one more for you before we go. How much you paying Sam Darnold and who's paying him?
What's up?
Who's paying Sam Darnold and how much?
Oh, I got to quote our buddy Bomani Jones. He had a good one today. He said, because last night we were all expecting to see Sam Darnold, and we saw same Darnold. That's what I'm scared about, George. We saw same Darnold. Same Darnold was the guy that we saw in New York, the guy that we saw in Carolina, and that's what may scare some people off about this $50 million deal. But that being said, Sam Darnold, not same Darnold, I feel like there's a spot for him in a couple of places. And the one place I've been kind of thinking about, I'm just saying, if you want a quarterback and you got a team that's ready to win right now.
Say it.
Say it. You already know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
There's a team in silver and black over there in the desert that can take a Sam Darnold that is much better and an upgrade for what you had on your roster. And guess what? You can still draft a quarterback very similar to what we saw with the Atlanta Falcons right now, who are in a better quarterback situation. Even though they spent a little money, but they still preserve their future with Michael Penix.
I like that. I like that concept.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold with the Raiders. I like that idea. There you go.
Yep,
That's Raider
there we
Kirk.
go.
You know what I mean? Like
Raider Kirk, right? There's all they'll have Raider.
Everybody who's got their Raider in front of their name is Raider Kirk for you right
so,
there.
Kirk, what we'll do is next week, I do want to ask you, you know what? What the hell? We'll blow up the clock here. We've been really good on the clock today.
We were great today.
Honestly.
Until George went on this rant about J.J. Redick, the NBA product.
Well,
Charles
you wanted
Barkley.
to talk about it. I didn't.
I didn't know you were going to go for 30 minutes like that.
Dog,
you win today. You win.
30 minutes.
Time of possession day,
I won
you win.
today.
You win.
Yeah, I won today. College football playoff.
Yeah.
This is what I told Cappy.
Yeah.
They need to do home games the first round and the quarterfinal. It's too much traveling for people, okay? And by the way, it's not that hard to go back to that because that's literally what it was. It was a 4-team playoff, and there were 3 bowls that were rotating every year.
Right.
Bowls were rotating, and sometimes the Orange Bowl or the Rose Bowl got left out of those 3 games, right? But they still had those games, and you can go back to that. Where if the Sugar Bowl doesn't have one of the 3 games at the end, the semifinal or the final, they can just have Ole Miss or South Carolina be the SEC representative because sure as bleep, those teams haven't been in the Sugar Bowl in 30 or 40 years. So it would be a good treat for their fans to go there instead of playing in, I don't know, whatever the hell bowl they were playing on January 1st at 8:30 at night Eastern. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I think we should go back to that model where you have 2 rounds of home games and then go back to the old school or the more traditional playoff stuff of neutral games only for the semifinal and final.
Yeah, I think so. It's just too much in the first year where we're seeing that it is a broken system, but yet we're going to settle it on the field. We wanted a playoff. We got it. Has it been exciting? Yes, to me, because it's been new. We've seen the numbers, what the ratings look like, and they've been through the roof. And we'll have 2 games on Thursday and Friday. That'll be, I think, the same way. That'll be well watched on both sides. And then we'll have a national champion. Next year, we'll try to find some tweaks in there. But it's just kind of crazy that the 4 teams that got the opening week bye all lost in the neutral site game.
Yep.
That's why it's just going to be different, I think, moving forward. The SEC also didn't really bode well because of their performances in these games and also in the bowls. I just love college football where it's at right now, George. Honestly, same thing, Cappy, because there's a lot of parity. And we didn't realize how much parity was going to be because of this transfer portal and this NIL, and that teams don't have this stock of roster. You know, my guy Marcus Pierce said it best. At Alabama and LSU, it was you had guys who were your superstars, and then you had the guys in waiting. Those guys in waiting said, we're not waiting no more.
They're
I'm
gone.
going somewhere else to go play. They're gone. And so I think the college football, look, this may be the last time we get these blue blood programs of Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, because I feel like next year is just going to be an even playing field, and maybe we get more upsets. Who knows? But I just think that they will tweak it as we go. Maybe, you don't have to worry about having a conference champion always be in it. Maybe it is the 12 best teams. Who knows? But they'll figure it out, and we'll still get the same number because we love college football.
Yeah, preach, man. I said it. The SEC was going to be the one that was going to get hurt the most when NIL and the portal started to happen. Because to your point, kids want to play.
Right.
They want to play right away.
It's not necessarily about the money. It's about everybody.
The money matters, but they're going to get money wherever.
But nobody's sitting around.
Correct.
Nobody's sitting around waiting anymore. Like Arch Manning at Texas is a very unique situation.
Yeah.
If Arch Manning were if Arch Manning wasn't named Arch Manning,
if he was Arch Johnson,
he would have been gone. Yeah. Listen, I look at this kid Malachi Nelson, who was the number
He's
one.
now
high
at
school,
UTEP.
right?
Yeah.
Number 1 high school quarterback in the country at Los Al High School. USC can't play. Boise State can't play. You're going to UTEP now?
Yeah, going to UTEP.
The minors.
This was a guy that was signed by LeBron's agency in an NIL deal because they all thought he was going to be a star. And guess what? Apparently he's not very good.
Yeah. So,
Cappy, what about this one? I'm gonna leave you guys with this one. I don't want to butcher his name, but the quarterback that had basically committed to Cal, decommitted to Cal, he goes to Oregon,
and then went back to Cal.
Oregon,
yeah,
and then he goes through bowl preparation with Oregon, looks at Dante Moore, who was the former quarterback at UCLA, and says, "Oh, I need to transfer because I'm not going to play over that guy over the next 2 to 3 years." Mm-hmm. He transfers back to Cal. And the dude isn't even he hasn't even enrolled at Cal yet. Like, this is all happening in the
that's not the kid.
Sagapolutele. Sagapolutele is the kid.
What was the kid's name who was the Cal quarterback this year?
Mendoza went to Indiana.
Fernando.
Yeah.
Indiana.
My Cuban guy.
Yeah, I know. You can't keep these kids anywhere, man. It's crazy.
I got you.
Kirk, you're the best, buddy. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, let me go back and watch these FCS playoffs.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, we're watching this also.
Yeah. All right, man. Be good. There he is.
Got it.
Morrison Monday.
Boy, we just annihilated the clock.
We're going to double up.
I know, but for 2 hours and change,
you know what?
we were on fire.
We were, and we were still on fire.
Yeah,
it was still good content
for sure. We just decided to blow up the clock.
Okay, but you know what? It was already commercial free for 30.
From now on, when we blow up the clock, we need a big explosion.
But if we were already going to do commercial free for 30, what's an extra 10 more minutes?
What's commercial free for 41 minutes?
Exactly.
What does it matter?
All right. And the audience, you got it.
Yeah, and nobody's
like
here.
If we were doing meters still today, we would got a huge number. There.
Nobody here. Nobody's even here.
All right.
To come in and go.
Well,
hey,
Chris
guys.
had the double Jody Watley rejoin.
Wow.
You know.
See, we just blew up the clock.
Yeah. Real quick, let me tell you about my guy Jacob Cappy. If you're injured in an accident, over the weekend. And let's kind of discuss what some of the stuff we discussed with Kirk here on the other side. And then we got dealer's choice as well. So if you're injured in an accident over the weekend and you're deciding, well, I can handle this myself, here's your to-do list today. First, you call the rental car company because you need a rental car. Second, all right, you wait to receive a call from the insurance company. And then when you speak to them, make sure not to say the wrong thing. Otherwise, you could jeopardize your case. Third, you got to call a doctor for an appointment. But then you can't see one for a week. And even then, you'd only be getting referred to a specialist eventually, but who knows how long that's going to take. Why are you doing this to yourself? You get into an accident, just call Jacob right away. 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 sent you. Make it easy, man. You're injured in that accident. Call my guy Jacob immediately. Jacob and his team will handle everything for you. All you got to do is call him at 844-24-JACOB, 844-24-JACOB. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 sent you. That's right. They'll have the rental car for you. They'll speak to the insurance company on your behalf, and most importantly, they'll set you up with the specialist so you can begin the healing process and get your health back in order. You don't pay a penny out of pocket either. So when you call an attorney, you want one who's respected, call Jacob because he's the real deal. Call him at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB, 844-24-JACOB. Or visit him online at Call Jacob.
I'm Doug Hopkins.
And I'm Damon Lyons, and we want to buy your house.
If you're considering selling your home for any reason, let Seller's Advantage show you a better way to sell your home.
With no agent fees, no commissions, no hassles, and no repairs.
Just a fair cash offer that can close in just a few days. We don't just promise more, we deliver a much better customer experience.
Check out our Google reviews and see how.
Call Seller's Advantage or visit sellersadvantage.com for free, no obligation cash offer.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
Not only do they have extensive knowledge on how to handle your dilemma, but they remain passionate about helping people. It's why Avner and his family continue to take the calls themselves at Avner Gat Inc. They cover all of Southern California, and if I haven't convinced you with all of these truth bombs thus far, just check out what seems to be a never-ending stream of 5-star reviews on Yelp, Google, and the Better Business Bureau. So, whether you have a toilet overflow, a broken water line, a burst supply line, a broken fire sprinkler, whatever the water damage is at home, call Avner Gat today. 818-917-5256. That's 818-917-5256. And you can go online to avnergat.com.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
This college football moment is brought to you by Serve Pro.
College football teams have moments they recover from and made it like it never even happened. Like when the University of Houston trailed by 25 points in the fourth quarter of the 2015 Armed Forces Bowl. The Cougars recovered 2 onside kicks and converted a 2-point conversion with 59 seconds left to secure the improbable 35-34 victory.
Houston stages a comeback for the ages.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened. Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. after Greenie.
I don't think I've told you. I used to be in a bowling league.
You can bowl too.
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm not a good bowler, but I'm not a terrible bowler.
You're like 9 feet tall. Though.
Yeah.
How do you get down there?
I was okay. I was in the bowling league when I was in my 20s, so this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I have my own ball. Okay?
Nice.
Okay. And I'm okay, or at least I used to be okay. We go bowling. It's me and my 3 children, my wife, and Bobby's girlfriend, Sarah. Okay? So there's 6 of us. And we got the 3 women on one lane, and we got the 3 boys on the second lane. We're right next to each other. So they're competing, we're competing. Bobby won 2 of the 3 in the men's division.
He beat you.
And Michael won the other one.
You got smoked?
I got skunked, DeMarco.
Well done, Dad.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hogue Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News and World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hogue Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hogue Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hogue. Learn more at HogueOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Hey, it's Bethel Duran. When you get into an auto collision and damage your vehicle, there's only one spot for you to call. That's my guy Leo at Active Collision. Experienced paint and body technicians will make your car look like it's brand new. You get a free estimate when you call 626-330-0100. They work with all insurance companies. Mention 710 and you get 50% off your insurance deductible. Call 626-330-0100, 626-330-0100, or visit ActiveCollisionRepair.com.
You never expect a Hail Mary pass to win and end the game or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Trav with DeMarco.
Only one all-star defense team you can call to defend you. The personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit NormandLegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Don't get sacked by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation you deserve. Visit NormandLegal.com or call 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000.
Let Joseph and his team score a touchdown for you.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text KING to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text KING to 42424. That's KING to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Time out. Your body goals don't have an off season. GNC is ready to help you get a stronger start on the new year with help building more muscle and proven weight loss support. Need a boost? We're ready with GNC vitamins for your longest winter days. Want the best energy drinks? They're at GNC. Never tried creatine before? Get ready to be amazed. GNC coaches are ready to help you in stores everywhere, and you can shop our full collection of flavors and online exclusives at GNC.com. GNC, live well.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Final segment of the program.
How did that happen?
I mean, dude, we went 40 minutes straight. Nobody else at this station could have put on that display of 40 straight minutes without any interruption and put on a masterclass of sports talk radio. As a matter of fact, maybe no one else in the godforsaken city, Jack.
Wow. Wow. This first show of 2025 has gone extremely fast.
Right. It really has.
Very, very fast broadcast today.
Excellent energy.
Yes. Shout out to all the Circle of Trust and everybody who's coming back in on Twitter. Shout out to everybody here at 710. I hope you guys, everybody enjoyed their break, but it's time to go back to work. And it's time to take it to the next level. Just, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I got it. Like, not everybody had a great 2024. I know I sure did. You know, but then again, I was comparing it to 2023 because 2023 was like a hell year of my life.
Yeah.
2024 was great, but instead of thinking like 2024 is the height,
well, you stopped writing those checks too.
Right, we're not like you get it. So instead of like thinking 2024 was the height, there's only the only way to go is down.
Yeah.
Brother, I'm taking it up a notch.
Yeah,
and I think everybody else should just think the same way, man. We're taking it up another notch.
So when are we going to the mornings then?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I just did that literally to drive Chris
Yes,
insane
right.
somewhere wherever he is right now.
Yeah, he's probably home by now.
Yeah.
And yes, the text should start coming in. Stop talking about mornings.
Real quick, what you should talk about is you can join us on Friday for the first 710 event of 2025. It's going to be down at
Island Bay.
At Islands in Manhattan Beach.
Bay.
Yes, for an all-day event, live broadcast, Wild Card Football Friday party, starting at 9 a.m. with Travis and DeMarco, Mason and Ireland at noon, you and me at 3 o'clock, all doing our shows live and in person. Huge giveaways. Islands in Manhattan Beach, 3200 North Sepulveda Boulevard. We'll see you on Friday.
Now, have I heard a rumor that on Friday...
I heard a rumor. Do you know who sings that?
Nope.
Bananarama.
Okay. I
feel like that was up your alley, though.
It is,
Yeah.
because remember, I was at the Chess King working in
I know,
1986
that's what I'm
and 87, but the way you carried that tune may have, confused me a little bit.
Well, I can't sing like Bananarama.
Well...
there it is.
See, I thought you would go for more like an Orange Juice Jones. Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. Is that Orange Juice Jones?
I think it is.
I believe
You'd
it
have to
might
look
be.
it up.
I don't
You'd have to
remember.
look
But I
that
know
up.
Bananarama, I heard a rumor. By the way, Bananarama, Cruel Summer, one of the best summer songs ever.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So as we head into our final segment here.
Really? The All-Valley Championship?
No, I like the All-Valley Championship. The very first Karate Kid.
In
good.
Reseda?
Very good.
Yeah.
And what was the girl's name who was opposite Ralph Macchio?
Well,
in the
Elizabeth
very
Shue
first-
is her. Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I loved her.
Yeah.
God, I had such a thing for her.
Allie was her name.
I didn't know her name.
Character,
I
but
wanted-
Elizabeth Shue is the
I was
actress.
looking for Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah.
You know, my people call her Elizabeth Zapato, but that's me. You know? That's just me. Those are my people. You know, the Hebrew brothers.
Cappy. So what did you make of what Kirk said about all the football stuff we were talking about? He doesn't believe the Chargers can win in Houston.
Yep.
He's very bullish on the Rams.
Yep.
And he kind of agrees with me on the college football playoff that he thinks that there should be some tweaking to it. So where do you kind of lie on some of the discussions we just had with him?
Well, I've loved the college football playoff this year, even though the early games were not as competitive.
But you had to expect that.
Of course. And look, I think everybody, I like all the griping. You know, like, for example, Arizona State lost in their game,
Oh,
right?
dude, they should have won.
And it was the most
They
bizarre.
got absolutely robbed.
Right, it was the most bizarre game because there's the helmet-to-helmet hit that
No
wasn't
question that's
called,
targeting.
That
Yeah.
wasn't called.
Yeah.
And then there was the most bizarre play. Because remember a couple weeks ago when the Chargers had the free kick and everybody lost their mind about what is the free kick? I've never seen it. I've never heard of it before.
I mean, Doug Flutie, dude. Don't you remember Doug Flutie?
No. Doug Flutie did a drop kick.
Oh, right.
A drop versus a free kick where you call a fair catch at the end of a half and you can line up for the field goal. Nonetheless, when you looked at Arizona State as an example throughout these playoffs, there was a ball, a kid comes in to kick a field goal. The ball is blocked at the line, right? Then the ball hits the turf and bounces up and over and in. So it went over the crossbar and in between the uprights. And I actually don't even know what the rule is on that.
Well, they're saying, the Arizona State, I guess, is petitioning to reverse the result of the game, which is not going to happen.
I know. They're saying, well, that field goal should have been good because the rule says that all it has to do is go through the uprights.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I've liked all the college football playoff controversies and debates. Listen, Boise State, for example, I know a lot of people will look at the final score, but if you weren't watching that game...
Early on, it was close.
Well, it was a 24-14 game in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Boise State scores a touchdown, making it 24-21. They've caught all the momentum.
Yeah.
And on the touchdown, it gets called back by a penalty.
Right.
They eventually get pushed back by more penalties, and I don't remember exactly what happened if they scored on that possession. I don't think they did.
No, they didn't.
So Boise State was so close to making it really competitive against Penn State until that happened, and then they just got kind of rolled over. But I've liked the college football playoff. I do agree with you, though, that when you have these bowl games
Too
that are
much
hosting
travel.
these playoff
For the
games,
fans, it's hard.
But also, it's like, I don't know that it's the Rose Bowl. I just know it's a college football playoff game.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's the Sugar Bowl. You know, I just know that it's a college football playoff game.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to use the bowls as the playoff.
Well, I think they, again, go back to the model when you had 4, which is there's only 3 of those games that include the bowls, and then you can make it a bigger deal. When you have so many of them that you're including, like, you lose track of what's what. So I think when it's just 3 games that will be part of the bowl system, there's 2 semifinals and the finals, that's different.
Right, then you could have the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the
Separately
Sugar
when they're
Bowl.
not in the
Right.
rotation.
And the
Right.
Fiesta Bowl. Those 4 games could be your championship games.
Correct.
And one of them gets out each year.
Right.
But I've loved the college football playoff so far. I really have.
I have too.
Hey, listen, as we get ready to wrap things up, we've been doing kind of a little survey as the day has
let's do
gone
one
on.
more before we go.
Let's do one more survey
go ahead,
question.
Funchy, real quick.
All right, Funch, what's the last survey question?
What will you do differently in 2025? Let's start with Cap.
Okay, what will I do differently in 2025? Listen, I have a bad habit of spending money on stupid stuff, like things that I could easily fix in my budget that would give me more money, or at least give me the ability to save some money, right? And I've told the horror stories about how my kids are going to put me into bankruptcy, right? I would do, this is every single day. I would get done working out. I'd go to this smoothie place. $11 for a smoothie.
That's wild.
$11.
Yeah, that's crazy spending.
Okay, so that's $55 a week.
You can make that at your house for like $1.50.
That's right. It's $200 plus a month.
Less, maybe.
Right. I stopped drinking coffee at Starbucks because I make coffee at home. It costs me 25 cents. I like my coffee. I like my creamer. I'm good.
Yeah.
For Hanukkah, I asked my kids, can you just help me create a smoothie station in the house?
Yeah.
So now I got protein powder.
Nice.
I got peanut butter powder.
I love it.
I got creatine.
Yeah.
I got my athletic greens.
Yeah.
I got vitamin D.
Yeah.
I got almond milk.
Yeah.
I got it all.
Yeah.
And now I make my own smoothies. And now my commitment is I'm going to take $200 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it away in my rainy day fund.
Yeah.
So that, and I know it sounds stupid. It's $200, but I'm telling you right now.
Oh, no, there's no question. And we got to run here, Cappy, in a second. But I would say also mine is that motivated by just saving like excess. Like, it's like I tell my wife, I said, listen, we got to be a little more budget conscious because it's honestly, to me, I'd rather take that money and invest it, right? Or put it in my kid's 529, you know what I mean? Than just like do it for the sake of doing it. There's ways to do things, whether it's the coffee or whatever, like little daily things, to your point.
Right.
Not about vacations or whatever, although certainly I think you can cut costs there. But like, I just think the daily stuff matters in a way that I don't think people realize how much it adds up. So I'm with you on that. Hey, real quick before we go, Cappy, because Andy Kamenetzky is coming up with Lakers Talk. We got to talk about Prize Picks. The best place, okay, to get action, sports action in the state of California. Prize Picks is the only place with real money, daily fantasy platform with injury insurance policy, by the way. So if your lineups, stay and play even if one of your guys gets injured, if your player leaves in the first half or doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. So you have like injury protection on Prize Picks.
The other part of it is this, is if you download the Prize Picks app, if you haven't done it right now or haven't done it by now, download the Prize Picks app, use our code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y, make a $5 play, get a $50 bonus. I'm telling you right now, we're going to win big during these playoffs. Okay, I did not play last weekend because I found like it's unpredictable, who's really motivated, who wants to win. I saved it all for the playoffs. We're going to win huge on Prize Picks.
And you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y. And on your first $5 play, you get a $50 bonus. And listen, once you win, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y. Again, first $5 play gets you a $50 bonus. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, we're done here. Great job, DeAndre, Funchy, The Circle, Christopher, even though you screwed up that Jody Watley thing that one time.
What's up, girl?
Cappy, excellent job. AK's up with Lakers.